Poppy is disengage-ish champion with a bit more aggressive options. Difficult champion to play though. Does go for the Poppy. I can rest for a series if I get tired. Oh, were it so easy. Too many games. Too many games. Map 1, Game 1 Temptations. Game 1. We don't call them maps in League of Legends. If you say that around the League of Legends community, they shall know you are in fact a betor. NIP. Locking in a very aggressive composition. W trying to play a bit more from range. Trying to protect that double long. It felt okay, but will they really seal themselves a victory? Need to prove that they can hang with the teams up here. Oh, that is loud. Man, I love the acoustics of this arena. Of course, WE, their fans traveling because they normally watch in Xi'an. Xi'an is where the WE arena has always been. They've had multiple arenas within Xi'an. They've sometimes moved location, but they're always there. NIP, they're now the Shenzhen team. That's where their arena is. Ooh, Shenji gone for the Ignite into the Jax. As is normal for the matchup, but I just saw the Ignite and went, ooh, nice. It's on fire. Thank you for the couple of follows, by the way. There were a couple around. Alrighty. And folks, if you let me know once we actually hear some game sounds more, because obviously there's nothing right now. Once we get into the laning phase, you just let me know what the volume's like and whether it should go up or down, and I'll do that. Level 1 in the bot lane. Oh, that's some delayed audio. I'm gonna have to go refresh that stream. That is. I'm gonna have to do that right now because that is very desynced, and hopefully that's on the stream's end. And so I'll skip forward just a little bit. There we go. Aki going for an early invade. Goes for one camp, goes over to the other side. The desync's pretty off. Yeah, well, I just refreshed the stream, and if that's what it is. Yeah, that desync. Wow, that is really desynced audio. However, I don't think that's actually something I can do on this stream. I think that's on their end. I think that's on Chinese production side. I can maybe refresh it once more. Aki has gone for the invade. We'll take that red buff. Ooh, that is quite hard to listen to, isn't it? All the sounds just off. Monkey will know Aki's in his jungle. He can't be too many places. Cube does have topside prio as well, which means that Aki needs to Q over the wall. Does he have Q off cooldown? Does now. That's going to give me a headache, actually, listening to that. I'll leave it another minute or so, and I can refresh and see what happens. So, Aki managing to get a camp away, despite the fact that all three lanes are pushing into him. Stealing away a camp while that is happening is a very difficult thing to do. Finds the timing, though. Gets out safely. Doesn't manage to get the Krugs, but he'll take it. He'll take that deal. Ooh, good snip there from Shanti, using the increased auto-attack range of the E. Gwen, of course, one of the stronger champions in the game once she's got the E running, even at the early levels. Vampire flashes for the wall stun, and PP God gets the flash out. So, flash ignite for just the flash. Not the best engage, actually, with that in mind. Vampire now down a very important couple of set of summoners, and PP God will still get to level 3 with decent HP taking over. Aki gets himself bot side scuttle. See, if Vampire had both summoners for, you know, Skarner going towards bot side river and contesting for that scuttle crab, maybe they could have gone for that a little more aggressively. Not to be the case, though. Raptors secured by Aki. Has level 4. Level up on Monkey now. Monkey, of course, has been the hero for WE. WE is not a strong team on paper. I think every single player of theirs has been maligned at different points. Leave has now pushed up too far. He's pushed up too far. He might get punched back by Poppy. I think he's actually okay now, though. Oh, maybe not. Should have flashed. Should have flashed. Has the barrier. Uses it. Might need to flash anyway, and does so. WE, get both summoners out of both bot laners. Not both summoners, both bot laners, because BP God keeps the ignite. You know what I mean, though. 3 summoners out. Gonna refresh the stream one more time and just see. If we can do anything about that desync. Come on, audio. You can do it. Oh, God, that is pretty bad, isn't it? Okay, it's better now. Oh, nice. Cool. Slightly better. Slightly better. I don't know, man. Oh, I hate hearing delayed audio. Oh, that is going to absolutely... That's going to really hurt my brain, actually, hearing all these delayed audio sounds. But hey, it's fine. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm a stickler for it. Okay, Monkey has flash, no bots. I remember no flash for either of these guys now. Jumping forwards, and Monkey misjudges his W range. That's a bit of a problem. Would have really, really liked to get a play there. Doesn't have the range. Doesn't get the wall slam. Still very slightly bit off. It's quite noticeable. Oh man, you just hear someone go, you see the action, then blam, half second off. Alright, Grub spawning, Dragon on the bot side. Didn't we go for the Rod of Ages Silas build? I prefer this Rod of Ages build on Silas compared to a lot of other champions. Now that is some weird observer stuff, where they go over towards the lane. It looks like you should be able to hear something, but because you're zoomed out so far, the game plan doesn't always do that. Grub started up by WE. Other side of the map, I guess NIP will go towards the dragon. So the classic Grubs for Dragon trade early on. Red pings on the enemy base. Dragon secured. Wonder whether Monkey could have actually... I wonder whether Monkey felt like he could have gone into the enemy jungle to take a camp away. Maybe knew that he had no one on his side of the map. I think actually with the timing he probably could have taken a blue buff, but he didn't have the information to know that. Which is the important thing. We're watching it with all full information, right? And they're in game without that. WE are one of the most storied organizations within League of Legends. They, of course, one of the greatest teams in Season 1 and 2. Morning Montes. Or Montes? I keep umming and ahhing on how to pronounce that. My bad. Aki, not really found that many aggressive options so far. Of course, Aki and Shanji, both players who I have my eyes on. Not necessarily for this series, but for the next ones after that, really. Against other teams. After taking some decent damage. Ignite flown onto him as he's flicked back. Suddenly, Vampires are half HP. Some of his healing pot denied as well. I don't even know which comp is better. Poppy can be enough against that team, and we'll see whether Shanji is enough with Aki on the top side. Ult through the Impale, and a bit of a nasty play for Q, but Shanji, even with the Needlework, is probably going to go down. Aki will return it 1-for-1, and now has a Q potentially going to Cube. But he'll make it out 1-for-1. Jungle dead for WE. Top laner dead for NIP. Map 1. Remember, it's game 1 here in League of Legends. We don't call them maps, because we always play on the same map. Map 1, 2, and 3 are the same map, aren't they? Always on Summoner's Rift. Zero's the other disengaged, but I don't know. Yeah, that was my feeling too. I feel like the Poppy is very hard to play in this kind of game. And also, you can't Poppy W a Vial, you know? The Vial is very hard to deal with. So right here, Shanji uses the W, and it goes up pretty quickly. And then, of course, he gets ganked. So I just didn't have information that the Impale ignored by the Vial. I think that's the only reason this trade gets close, actually. It allows Shanji to survive through into Needlework. If the double Impale had come through, I think Q probably would have killed the Gwen before the Vial came through. Aki is cosplaying Miyaki Way. Man, the fall off from Milky Way has been really sad to watch, sadly. Montez. Okay, cool. Good to know, thank you. Cool, good to know, thanks. Alright, grubs spawning in the next 40 seconds. NIP. Not wanting to let 6 grubs go over, especially with the Jax on one side. You can use very good use of them if they, you know, get the Jax into the sideline. I feel like with the Corki pick just can't play into this comp. The W is simply not enough. Skarner and Jax pick make no sense in this draft. That's what I felt when it came around to the second bans, and the Ezreal and the Xayah were banned out by NIP. This was a consolation Corki pick, where you get to use your W, but it doesn't feel fantastic to play. NI Pilkers? Yeah, it's the one. Oh, Pepsi Milk Gods. Alright, grubs are getting started up. NIP, are they really not contesting? Do you really want to give 6 grubs over? Not even look for a smite on her? Aki has ult, has no flash. I mean, okay, they want to smite 1. They need to stop the 6. You need to stop 6 coming through, but that's why W... Whoa, fails the wall stun. Oh, Vampire, that's just not it, is it? Aki gets out with his own ults, and Doomby steals the Impale, gets a triple. Karis will get him back into the mix, but here comes the needlework. It feels like WWE have just messed up their engage a little bit too much. And IP take themselves an immediate 3. W look for the turn off of the grubs, and instead find Doom. Oh, Vampire missing the flash wall stun. Did say the Poppy was hard to play, and I think for a player like Vampire, you need to make his job simple, right? Sadly, it doesn't happen, and his first plays of the game have been not great, sadly for him. Captain better movements. Ooh, Shanghai scrolls, Jin music starts playing. Still comes through and leave, get some good damage onto Karis. 2-0-1 now. Yeah, leaves feeling happy. Morning, Katari. So, obviously, the big moment here is Vampire missing the flash ball stun. Monkey then drives him out of the W, so he doesn't even need to worry about flashing out. Monkey and Vampire both have very bad engages. They get the Impale onto them. And yes, Karis does get a good sweep onto Aki. Damage is sort of done. You don't have any cooldowns left for anyone, really. I mean, Shanji gets a free fight. Leave and Doomby get free fights. Now Shanji's on the top side. Has Ignite. Keep has to back off. Pilk God. Yeah, that's the game. Doomby. Scary laughs there. Shanji. Now Shanji is actually winning the individual matchup. That's a problem. Getting plate gold. Cube being forced to back off. XP advantage for Shanji, and of course the gold advantage too. Cube is so low HP. Look, dude, there's a stack for Q. The Ignite comes through, the stun under tower. Cube needs to use the flash, and the Ignite so close to killing him. But now the problem is Cube should have really just backed off and teleported back anyway. Has to back and, teleport back to the lane. I feel like he could have just backed and teleported without using his flash and potentially losing his life. Shanji down an Ignite now, but it's a low cooldown summoner. Hello, Solar Puppy. Good to see you. Dragon up in 2 minutes. Of course, NIP got the first one. W traded for that second one a little later after the Grubs fight, I suppose. I think that was them. Losing track of the game. Silas well towards stacking his Rod of Ages now. There is a gold advantage for Karis, who did get a kill in that one fight and then has been given some sideline farm by WE. Don't really think that's going to be enough. It's very hard for Azir to actually sit and auto-attack a Gwen through the W. You'd have to sweep her out of it, which you don't want to do really is the Azir in this game, because you're going to die. The Silas threatens you on one angle, as the Vi presses ult on you. It's hard for you to hit this Jhin either, because often he's out of your range. So you have options of hitting the Vi and the Rel if they engage onto another target than you. Hey, Jelly. Good to see you. First item spike across the board now. This is the power spike for, who's it a power spike for? In Jackson Triforce is pretty good, but I think Riftmaker for Gwen is very scary. Derby once he completes that Rod of Ages. Hit a very good spot. Slows down a little bit. Herald in 30 seconds. WE, I think they probably do need that. Ooh, very nearly had Macedonian Warfare. For those of you that missed that, it's one of my favorite combinations in the game. Me, I won't talk about the 256-man Macedonian phalanx. Me, 3 drinks later, Silas steals the Azir ult, and they both cast it at the same time. The push of pikes ensues. Can you tell I was a Rome Total War player? Monkey, drive finds the mid lane, and the flash stun works this time from Vampire. Both summoners use it. Now we have a teleport coming in from Derby, who does use the Azir ult. Goes forwards, and Taeyoon does not have any more HP. 1-for-1, both AD carries taken down. Monkey going forwards again for a flash wall stun. Not really sure about that one. So it ends up in a grand scheme of things, 1-for-1. That's the danger of standing next to walls against this composition. Derby with W with the top double wall interactive team champions. Skarner and the Poppy. I don't know about that flash forward from Monkey. I mean, Monkey Skarner was incredible versus EVG to get them here in the first place into the ESN group rather than, yeah. I used to speak a bit of Spanish, and then I, yeah, I forgot it. I was going to get started up by an IP. They were absolutely not ready for the sides with his ER, because he stole it when he looked for that pick earlier. Uses that all very, very well. Alright, so Vampire, no flash now. Oh, and he's engaged onto around the side. The W doesn't land from the gym, but I think Vampire's dead anyway. His creative engage is just a creative trip towards a coffin. Jhin ult comes through, and the Impale stolen just to make sure the cube is stuck in place. Monkey does get a decent playthrough to keep Shanji into the fight. PPG getting a little bit lower. And Karras with a decent ult himself, but it's just not enough. Again, feels like W, this start to their fights are so poor that they struggle to make up any difference. If Vampire and Monkey misjudge the start of a fight, they just can't claw their way back. Herald will now go up to NIP. They're just skirmishing better, they're engaging better, they're judging the fight at the start of the fight better. Oh, the Corky Gatling gun in the replay. Wall stun, dead. But then of course the Silas who'd stolen the Azir ult earlier. Gets the 3-man ult for free. Of course, then PP God kind of pulls them back in with the Magnet Storm so the displacement doesn't come through, but it's still the damage which happens. And then Vampire, I don't know, just disrespecting enemy vision. Vampire is not a good player when playing from behind the vision game. If the enemy team has good wards down, he really struggles to be creative in the same way. When he's ahead, he can do alright, but obviously not in this case. So Herald, I'm going to assume, is taken by NIP. Dragon started up in the picture-in-picture. Vampire just hex flashed over the wall. Poppy ult. Ooh, traded for that. Both Poppy ults thrown out. Doomby hit with it, but then throws his own hammer back as he's flying back towards his own side of the map. Dragon secured by NIP. We'll say W is putting up a better fight than expected. I don't think it's been that great a fight. Aki has the ult and goes through the Poppy W, which doesn't get stopped by that steadfast presence. He has gone a little too far, though, maybe. Doomby going forwards. Monkey stuck in the play, no flash. At least to not that much. Herald still needs to be defended in this mid lane. Karras taking the bot side turret. While it's happening, W, of course, have players in both side lanes. Karras being one of them, we just mentioned him. So Q playing towards that too. What happened top side? Did he get the full kill? No, force the flash out. Does W outscale NIP? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Because you have Gwen. Normally you'd say, oh, well, you know, Jhin not that well scaling. Leaves Jhin is very good into the late game. I think that Corki struggles to play. Really struggles to play, actually. And then I think the Poppy starts to get less and less value as the game goes on too, besides the ult in objective fights. I think it's very hard to play into the Gwen and the Vi in the way that you want. Also quite hard to play into Jhin. In team fight settings anyway. Hello. How's it going, Max? Oh, ult back. Shanji does have PP got around. Is that enough? You have the needlework, but you don't have that much defenses left. The last needlework does come through. They don't have the damage. Karis will make it out alive. W find themselves a pick on a side lane. Doomby did have teleport. Didn't want to spend it on that. Has the 10 stack Rod of Ages now for the extra level. Jack's pushing in the bot side. So actually W making some decent inroads on side lanes right now. Jack's going towards the inner turret. Has the demolish. Does he take the full turret hit? Aki called down to wave clear. Get some of this. Cube is going to get the turret. I think Aki probably kills him. Stun through. Use the ward over. Aki solo kill onto Cube, who dies for the inner turret. So let's not have overt betting talk in my Twitch chat, by the way. Like, it's okay if you want to do that in the Onivia chat. But please don't do that in Twitch chat, just because it kind of ruins the atmosphere of it. It's okay. It's okay. You didn't know. You didn't know. You're a Russian NIP fan. Let's go NIP. Fred, did you know them from CS at all? Or were you a league homie? Doomby stealing that Skarner ultimate, has the Impale. Had good use of it so far. Gone towards that Riftmaker second. Of course, Silas now having the HP scaling on his W damage. It's pretty nasty with this kind of build. And then, oh, hang on, teleport up towards top side. Wanting to really play around this Atakan. And I've been not choosing to finish off that bot lane turret. Really wanting to rush this, trying to cheat the timer a little bit. Not go towards the bot lane turret and force a W into a fight. Skarner, Jack's not here just yet. So. Called off. Not a great teleport from NIP. Doesn't really achieve much. Could have taken that bot lane turret for free. Now they're down a global, which is kind of important because W are playing heavily towards side lanes. Turret taken by W in top side. Easily for them. 4 growth makes it easier for them to hit it. NIP, this is why I'm not that confident in them. Some map slip-ups. Some, you know, overlooked moments here and there. Walking over a ward. W put that one down. They use the sweeper now, but gonna be that helpful. Karis under turret top side. Getting set to get good damage onto Aki, actually. Has his 2-item core. Thank you, Isami. That's very kind of you to say that, and I hope you're enjoying your time here. What's my name? I'm Alex, Max. I'm Alex. Monkey pushed over the wall by the blast cone. Ooh, uses the Impale. Maybe Vampire can do something else. Monkey finding an awesome angle. And Doombeat steals a Poppy ult. But all instead is hammering nails into his own coffin. And suddenly Atakan started up by WE. NIP now really missing that summoner of Shanji's teleport from earlier. WE, honestly, just playing the map a little bit better. As Atakan starts to get burst down. Do NIP have an angle? No silence for the damage this time. No Impale, of course, by Monkey. It is an important tool to be down. And they are getting shredded by the Atakan. Vampire going towards, and this time does get the wall stun on to the Rel. Rel does have the flash. Used the Magnastorm first. Maybe should have flashed out a little earlier. And probably should have done flashes and dies anyway. PP got my dude. What is happening here? NIP playing in their own home arena. Would not want to disappoint their fans, but this is looking like it's bringing a bead of sweat out onto the forehead. WE outplaying NIP on the map. And a good engage this time by Monkey. Atakan being taken down to half. Aki does have flash, does have ult. They're looking for a steal now. That's what they're looking for. Doomby could come back towards the play again. Leaf still available, but no ults. So his range is diminished somewhat. Doomby has the Q, has the flash. Can he get over? Chooses not to. Could have flashed and ulted. Monkey going forwards. Full GAs up for WE. Grouping up, looking for a fight. basically even in gold now, we are. Yeah, and now we return to that comment made earlier. W putting up a better fight than expected. I think that's true now. I expected this to be fairly clean TO. Didn't think that NIP would be... Oh, that's a lazy recall, isn't it? Ah, oh, Doinby, you can't be doing that. Don't know about that one, man. Don't know about that one. Lazy recall, good punish by Monkey. He's had a mixed game as well. Gets a good pick off there. And he's going towards topside, alright. Maybe he's starting to feel a little bit better about himself. Manages to bring out that hallowed mist. Chanji starts pulling up the needlework. But again, NIP not playing well on the side lanes. Monkey much better at getting towards the punch there. Now Baron's started up. They still have the GAs, of course, which is why they can make big plays like this. Impale being down, not the biggest thing ever now. You've taken care of one of the bigger damage sources. And Shanji, a continuation of him having a bad run of form. Aki going for the very, very long loop around. 7,000 HP left, ticking down. Vampire making sure he can just stop that W going over the wall. And NIP choose to not contest, not look for the steal either. Derby will impale the wave. Dragon is up and available. W get the Baron, and NIP, I don't know, I feel like they've slipped. Great early game from them. Wait, Genji went to game 3 versus DK? What the hell? Wait, they chose that. Wow, okay, I didn't realize that. I won't spoil you for that pick and chat. That's insane. Alright, I didn't think they would go to a game 3. Insane. By the way, folks, Karis 5-1 on the Azir. I wouldn't say he's necessarily been the person starting the plays and been the big playmaker. He's been the person who's benefited the most from it, though. He's so fed. Shuffles into the Hallowed Mist so he can get the damage over there. Stands behind his jungler. Karis very strong now. And this Azir can solo carry now at this point. Wait, what? That is an insane juggle. Vex Z? Are you kidding me? Wow, okay, some people will need to watch that VOD back. I will need to watch that VOD back. That's insane. WE, 2,000 gold advantage. This Azir is insane. So now the job, the mission for NIP is to somehow get stop this Azir from team fighting. But the problem is he now has Merc Treads and the Zhonya's, which makes it very hard to burst him out. Oh, flash for flash. Monkey trying to catch out Aki. Any pick now, I think, could actually just end the game. Vampire will get a wall stun potentially, and he does. Third turn goes forwards. The teleport comes through. There is an ult, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Vampire is going to die, but that's not the important person. Taeyon dying, that is a bit more important, but Karis is the main carry, and he goes down too. Oh, WE, things were looking good, but they've lost both their carries. Lever's alive, and he's the last damage really available alongside Derby. Cube getting through those auto attacks, though. Maybe the Jax can also add through something into it as well. The Riftmaker, not enough to keep the Silas alive, but it will be a 5-for-3. WE throw the last of their Baron buff to the wind. Don't even get to use their Atacans because that had timed out, and leave. Walks away. 5-1 and 7, and WE, you gotta feel like they just threw a bit of that game. Karis having a really good game. He was up until this moment. I'm so sorry, Altogen. I was thinking it too. Oh god. We have it all. This is a decent wall stun. I didn't think that angle would actually connect. That's kind of BS, actually. That's just the way Poppy works. She kind of drags you back to her hitbox. Doinby forces out a very... That's such a bad Zhonya's from Karis, actually. His ult was fine, but you don't need to use your Zhonya's there. That just puts you into a very bad position. Karis really mispositions here. There is no world in which Karis should be dying that easily. We were just saying, hey, well, you know, he's got the extra HP from blah blah from Leandries, he's got Zhonya's, he's got Flash. How do you deal with that? Merc Treads as well. Very, very easy to, well, very hard to misstep there, I felt. My LPL. We should get an emote for that. Anyone's game now? Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Gwen is terrifying. GA for Aki makes his job a lot easier. I think that the Poppy is getting less value as the game goes on. That Wallstorm was good. That last fight is a better example of what they can do. But, you know, you get the Wallstorm and then not much else happens after that. BP God. Positioning aggressively. Soul coming up in a minute and a half for NIP would be the Cloud variety. Hopped over the wall. Aki spots him. Playing the smoke and mirrors a little bit. Oh, Karis has Void Staff. Look, the thing is, that one fight was Azir getting nothing done. If the next fight Azir does anything, you start to turn your opinion a little bit. As long as Karis has an okay fight, it's very hard for NIP to win. He has so much damage, man. Level 17 as well. Out-leveling a player gets a, you know, a free level from the Rod of Ages. Durnby has been dropping a lot of farm. Like, a lot of farm. Giving over to Leave instead, I presume. Who's ahead. 20 to 30 CS on the other side, of course. 50 CS to the side of Karis in advantage. 30 CS in top. Aki. Spotted out by Vampire. I'll also point out, this kind of shows how insane Scout was yesterday for neutralizing Knight. Knight also just completely ran it down in game 2, which sucks, really. Very rarely, all game, whatever it was, the Azir, whichever game it was. That's his worst game he's played in years, actually. Vision being traded over the place. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds would be sold for NIP. W potentially looking for a big old play. Vampire not in position to get a wall stun, and now Durnby has the Impale. And we'll trade that on to Monkey. He has no flash. Karis has not got any damage just down yet, and the pop ult comes in late. Monkey down, no smite for the dragon. Oh, that's disappointing for WE. That's an easy one. That is an easy one. See, even with just a couple of auto attacks, Karis completely shredding through NIP, but they've just given over a free soul. Don't even stick around for the fight now, knowing that they lose the game, I suppose, if they lose big enough there. I think the game would spiral from that point. NIP also getting towards the point where they can upgrade their advanced boots from the feats of strength. Onto the Baron we go. Monkey's still dead. W, you can't let them get everything. Soul and Baron, come on. At least try and let Karis outplay. I mean, I feel like you should have just gone towards the Dragon anyway. The Baron goes down, but W don't contest the Soul or the Baron. It's a big mistake. That feels like... yes, you lose a member, but your Azir is so fed. Surely you still try and just buy time for Karis, because now playing against the Soul and the Baron, doesn't the game just fall apart? Perhaps they'll prove us wrong by getting a good fight in the 5v5 afterwards, but this feels like a capitulation from WE. They've just chosen to give up so much. In Cloud Soul for NIP is no small thing. Particularly for the Gwen, he struggles to stick to targets sometimes in bigger plays. Look how fast Aki is around the map too. Moving with the extra out of combat movement speed and stuff from the Cloud Soul is nasty, but no, Leave too, getting the swift marches from the boots and then the out of combat move speed. Very, very hard for W to position around the map now. When you have a quadruple melee composition, Cloud Soul becomes really nice. Shanji quickly taking down that bot side turret. Gwen's split pushes very, very effectively, of course. And W don't have cross maps this time, as they did earlier in the game. They can't leave someone on the side lane. That's why Karis got a lot of his gold, of course. He was 3.8k gold ahead, now 2.8k. 2,000 gold advantage in top lane. Cube on the Jax has struggled. That's a decent Impale. That might get away some of the engage. PP God still has flash and chooses not to use it, and instead dies. And if you're not wanting to buy into a full fight there, of course, if they bought into a fight there, they needed to find a way onto the Azir. That is always going to be the question for NIP. Can they get onto the Azir? Monkey, not a great game, which is a shame because W, I think they really need Monkey to do stuff, really. Oh, does get himself the Wolves, but he's solo HP. Jhin not going to get the third shot, but gets the fourth, and the Scorpion goes down. Scorpions can breathe underwater for 17 days, but they can't escape the power of gunpowder. W onto Karis. Oh, Leave. What a shot. And that's just going to be the end of the game. WE, they lose Monkey a couple of times, and they decide, well, we can't fight without our jungler. That'd be rude. Lose an inhibitor. Great shot from Leave. Great shot from him. Bends the bullet. Angelina Jolie would be proud, as they say. I said that the other day too. But you wouldn't have known that unless I'd said that just now, but I did. So what happened here? I mean, Leave just completely guts it. God damn, that's a lot of Jhin damage. Sometimes you think Jhin is not a hyper carry. And he's not. Oh, he's just too big. He's too big. Unironically, might die because Heartsteel increases his size from stacks. Unironically, the Heartsteel increases your size the more stacks you get with it. There are certain breakpoints. And I think that makes it much harder for him to dodge out on the Jhin ult. My dude needs to go to I don't know, whatever the dietary courses are. Is it? It's not Slim Savers. No, that, oh, I can't remember. Whatever. Cube on the side lane, hit with one Jhin bullet, flashed away from the second, and the ult goes through the fourth shot just on the edge. Cube goes down. Oh, Leaves Jhin is so fun to watch. Comboed up with well by NIP, but Leaves Jhin, star of the show here for me. I think Aki's had a good game on the Vi as well on the whole. One or two missteps, but hey, setting up well there. Was that the Jhin ult music again? No, because it's the wrong one for the skin. I was wondering where the dramatic music was coming from. Get on a diet, you bug. I'm not fat shaming, but also, he did die because he was too big. And that's actually a demonstrable fact. Oh, God. I say that as I say, as a 2D object, and you do the opposite, don't I? Oh, hard to put on weight sometimes. But then again, different people have different issues, don't they? Dietary stuff is a complex subject. Not one I always confess to be the most knowledgeable about. Taeyeon 4 items has the Infinity Edge. Look, there's still a world in which WE get the Azir and get the Corki. Gunning down a single target. A couple of targets in the front line. It's still throwable for NIP. Oh, Gathering Storm from Leave, that's what they're highlighting. If they keep highlighting this for AD carries, and I do like this actually, because it's a good reminder that if you get towards 40 minutes, you know, AD carries go boom. 20 seconds till Elder. Honestly, I thought the game would be over because the Soul and the Baron went over, but W have Saturn wave cleared. I mean, it's still throwable. You somehow flip Elder, you let Karis and Taeyeon do damage when you're distracted by both the objective and the frontline fight. Playing around the Fog of War or NIP, denying some vision, trying to play out the Bush Spray. Okay. Slice opposition, bone plating down on Vampire. Leave. Oh, trying to use... Oh, look at that, though. Really well played from Leave to use that rapid fire can basically for poke. Gets almost the fourth shot. Very nearly curves the bullet again, but that's split the team. Oh, WE. It's Leave who's pulled them apart. Can they finish off the kills? Vampire has flash. Tries to go for the wall stuff, but misses it again. Starting the game as he ends it. Oh, Vampire. Yeah, don't let this man go outside. The sunlight will kill him. Karis. Oh, now he can't even do the damage either. Aki just dunks down on both solo laners. Double kill for the Vi. Kills out two of the strongest members on WE. Taeyeon is alive, but really, there's not much left for him to do. Leave will get one shot left, and that'll be the game. Oh, WE could not find a clean fight for the life of them. And it will be for the life of them. Nexus goes down, and NIP win the first game of the day. Damn. Topical. And we get the Victor for Derby as well. So much less about dropping farm on the silos and making plays, much more about being a solid carry yourself. A front-to-back composition for NIP. WE have a bit more flanking potential, a bit more dive with the Aatrox and the Wukong. Kind of like making their way onto the carries and killing them. I do think that the individual carries of NIP are better in the front-to-back, though. I think Ezreal versus Varus, that's a bit of a wash, but I think that the Victor typically better than the Taliyah at killing the tank front line. And especially when your front line is the Aatrox and the Wukong, you're a little less tanky than a Sion who gets rolling. So, WE needing to bounce back. And if you're coming in now from the LCK, welcome. Here, that series just ended. Let's hear ourselves how the crowd's feeling in Shenzhen. Scout gave Knight a big fat warning. He did have a very bad game the other day, and I don't know, man. I think BLG is actually just completely mental booming at this point. Hang on, they Q. Sion Q gets the knockup, and Leave is sat here with the Conqueror stacking up. He's going to flash over. I think this is a bit of a problem, though. I think Leave should have followed. Leave, my dude. I think if you flash over, there's a good chance you win that, by the way. Flashing forwards, Cube goes down. First blood of Shanji. Takes a couple more summoners, maybe than they wanted. 3 flashes for just the 1 on WE. But they do get themselves first blood. Don't walk the bad way back to lane. He's going to get flash pulled now. I swear to God. Is that actually going to lead to him dying? I think it might do, actually. Aki going in for a little bit more. Tower shot not going to be taken. Not sure why Aki went over the wall then at that point. Right. At least Dermby can teleport back in with his gold. You got the kill, Alistair? Oh, okay. First blood to the first kill to the Alistair is actually not that great. PP God gonna walk over. That's gonna be the Q into cube. The big damage from Leona comes from when you hit with an ability and then your teammate then gets an auto attack or an ability down as well. Oh, some XP gonna be denied here. I think it maybe was from Vampire. Vampire missed some XP. I think all of it's picked up by Taeyoon, but the Alistair gonna be slower to hit level 2. Wonder whether IDIP knew that, because you obviously don't get to see their XP. I think maybe they can win that race to level 2 now. E doesn't hit onto PP God, so no extra HP off of the Leona. Karas getting control of this mid lane. Level 2 hit by PP God and Leave, and he's gonna have to pull out of it. He does, but it doesn't mean he's gonna be able to, you know, escape without taking any damage. Another good Q there from Leave. Vampire's the carrier now. We shall see. We shall see. I just felt like that should have been so much easier for NIP at the level 1. I wonder whether they could have just committed summoners a little quicker. Full sensor. Aki completely seen on 2 different walls heading towards mid lane. Karas has flash, so he's fine there. No real way for Dermby to force a play. Just freezing out the lane. Fixed? No, just 2 teams which are quite inconsistent. We need to write a New York Times best-selling book. The everything I don't like is fixed. I get the frustration. But that's just the nature of, you know, mid-table teams here in the LPL. Shanji misses a minion, and the cannon is missed by Cube. Cube is in a crap spot, if in case you hadn't realized that, folks. Did die for that first blood. Didn't teleport up towards the first wave. I suppose he didn't have to because he died a little earlier, of course, against the quicker recall. But now it's behind CS and the kill versus the Sion, who's not managed to go back for the first buy just yet. He'll be recalling now, though. Yeah, out of the combo. Cube's a bit washed. Cube's had better. Hang on a second. Shanji no flash and is on a ward. Red buff on him. I don't think he dies. Shandu just would have liked to get a clean recall. I mean, he's going to get his recall stopped again if Monkey really wants to. Yeah, he's going to stop the recall again. Because Cube really wants this recall to get stopped. And Shanji should have just not greeted his recall. Wasn't Sion first round red side? It's been very, very impactful nowadays, folks. I missed the first part of the draft because I was getting a coffee. You'll be fine for that. Shanji missing CS under turret now as well. I don't know, man. Shanji, just don't greed your recalls. You've now lost your CS lead you've just built up. Oh, for God's sake. He has his first kill, but okay, Karas does have flash. Ooh, is the stun going to come through? He has to path around the grab field now. PP God can flash forward for the Q stun. Instead chooses not to use the Q flash. Force the flash just with the E. How are these teams on their second match and IG is on its 5th? That's a very good point. And the schedule has not been even at all. Karas has no flash this time, but does get the minefield, and Aki doesn't wait for the CC and doesn't land the E, and then Vampire's going to make sure it's a 1-for-1. Aki, just wait for the CC to land! Just messy, imprecise plays. The level 1, similar. I mean, you just wait for the CC. It just doesn't... It shouldn't be a skill shot at that point. It should be point and click. Vampire cleans up another kill. The more important thing is obviously that Karis goes down. The kill goes over Dak. It's more of a useful gold on him, of course. It's on hit Varus for Taeyon, worth noting. Has to kill that tank frontline somehow. But I suppose you have enough damage from the Aatrox and the Wukong. I think you could have gone for poke here and just go towards that backline killing potential, but hey, whatever. 100% kill participation. Oh, they're just going mid lane again. Aki does have flash. Is he afraid of the wave? I think he's really afraid of this wave. I mean, he should be. I don't know, Karis, man. Okay, whatever. Monkey's around the corner. I wonder whether they could have gone earlier there and just gone jungle support versus mid laner. I think they would have had the damage for it. Yes, it's into a full wave, but I think they could have forced that out. Grubs have now spawned. Dragon on the bot side of the map. Honestly, these two, hang on a second, where's Sion going? Where did Sion go, actually? Oh, ult was popped by Cube to disengage. Vampire flashes forward, and he's gone onto the gravity field. GNIP do not have flash on their support, but Vampire might go down first. No, it lasts a little longer. Aki now caught into the play, and NIP don't have the Resurrect in the right spot. Shanji's not coming to the play. And W clean up a couple of kills. 2 for 1 in the grubs. Cube doing much better in this matchup after Shanji completely messed up his recalls earlier. And threw a lot of his ability to snowball ahead in that lane. Karis actually still stunned up anyway, despite the phase rush helping him get out. So this is where the Sion ult was broke. Okay, so it's ult for ult trade. Doesn't want to get hit by the... Doesn't want to get stuck into that play with the Conqueror being stacked by Aatrox. Makes a deal of sense. Yeah, Vampire still 2-1-2 on the... kill participation from Vampire. He's having a good game. No, he's running around the map well. Stunned into the combo from Taliyah, but Taliyah has a tear, so no damage, and then Doomby has a catalyst, so doesn't take any damage right now. But yeah, Vampire being given a lot of value because mistakes have been made by NIP. Oh, NIP. This team should be good. Not sure I'm convinced about that right now, though. They're quite a confusing team. Collector Alistair? Yeah, that's the build we should really see this game. I totally agree. Yeah, Collector Alistair. That's the one I want to see. Lethality Aatrox? No, it should be the no, with the... Okay, we'll see what it goes towards. Might be the Eclipse first, actually. So it shouldn't be lethality in that case. But he hasn't gone towards the Thunder Sky. Hang on a second. Cube being jumped on now. Has flash, has ult. I don't know if they have a great amount of damage to deal with this. They definitely don't kill him quickly. Force the flash out. Now Monkey's here with the Cyclone. And NIP, I think they've just misjudged it again. Cyclone not pulled by Monkeys. Bot back by the ultimate of Aki. And Cube, he's completely fine in that kind of situation. There's no way a Sion or a Shinzao has the damage to kill a Aatrox at this point in the game cleanly. Takes long enough, then NIP don't get anything out of it. I don't see what the decision making is here. Now Monkey knows that Shinzao doesn't have ultimate. So their ult comes over. There is no flash. Goes over the wall. Cyclone again, still being threatened by Monkey. Doesn't have the flash, but goes forwards and is fine. Anyway, Doomby tries to stop Karis from getting around. Is there going to be an extra play to be seen? It's a 1-for-1, and you give a kill to the victor. Sanji's here anyway. Now WE have overplayed their hand. Yes, you can see the Shinzao doesn't have his ultimate. That doesn't mean you give a double over to Doomby's victor. That'll be a quick Rod of Ages completion for him on his next back. And NIP, it's their turn to pick up the mistakes of the enemy team. Oh, ult onto the Alistair. Not really what they want, though. I appreciate the angle looking for this, knowing he just wasted his ult. Has a bit of his HP down. Have been regenning a bit from his red buff, though. Turns around some damage onto Monkey. Chaos Storm goes down. Easy kill. Karis is, of course, warded off by the grab field. Karis probably should have just bailed on the play. Man, some high-quality play from some top LPL teams. I mean, so, I would say, neither WE nor NIP, I would say classify as top LPL teams right now. Yes, this is Group Ascend. They really need to prove, particularly NIP. Well, obviously NIP. W, I don't think they really have this capability, sadly. NIP need to prove that they deserve to be a top team. They were in the first split, they were looking good. But they've looked very poor in their recent games. I think particularly Shanji and Aki have been struggling. It's really been Leave against the world in a lot of their games, actually. Leave has been on great form. I like Leave a lot. I think this guy's a great AD carry. He could truly be one of the next greats of the LPL. Him and 1xN are the two which I've really got my eyes on. Probably Leave more than 1xN right now, which I didn't expect to be saying. Start of the year, after split, well, in split 1. Grubs now started up the NIP. Just want to stop the 6 if at all possible. You do get the 1, have the smites. Should be able to get 2. Aatrox on the flank. That could be a problem, actually. Aatrox in a good spot. Vampire has Flash, 2. Flash, level 6. Full HP. This is a good angle for an Alistar. How many carries can he get onto? Oh, Varusol hits. Shanji punted back. Of course, he's a Sion. He's tanky. The Cyclone comes through. Doesn't get that much done, and we're flashing forwards and do get at least the Grub NIP. 4-man knock-up onto them from the Alistar. That flash from Vampire was so important. 2 kills very quickly over, but NIP should realistically have known that they were there to stop the Grubs and not for a fight. I feel like they go too deep again. 1xN is mid? Tell me someone that's not watched 1xN, man. Tell me someone that's not watched 1xN. Vampire, great fight there. Of course, that was the perfect Alistar fight. Full HP, has ult, has flash. Perfect, honestly. It's so Doin Bova. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like this is not your power spike. The Alistar has a perfect angle here. The grab field is not well used, I don't think, from Doomby either. Time's out before Cube comes in. The Chaos Storm's not that great. And they pile in against the wall. So, I mean, NRP do stop the 6 Grubs. Give over more gold than they'd like, though. Talon's 2-0 and 3 now, so he's feeling good about things. Doomby's looking good, though. What's the probability that NIP makes worlds? Oh, it really depends on meta and form. Shanji needs to find a comfort champion pool. And of course, there's a long time for the patch to change. A long time for the patch to change between MSI and whatever. Honestly, Vampire's improved so much. No, I don't think actually he has. I think Vampire is the same player where when everyone is on the same screen, he'll find a good engage. But he's very poor at playing the vision game, and he's very poor at playing the game from behind. I mean, that is the kind of play, because that's the kind of play where you look, wow, great knocker, but also you can, I mean, go rewind the VOD. I'm just like, okay, he's full HP, has flash, has ult. This is where an Alistar should make the big play. And NIP stack up as 4 people into the perfect Alistar play. Is that Vampire, or is that NIP making a mistake? It's a bit of both. Now, Cube, once again, being jumped on by Jungle Top. He does have the Black Cleaver. It's, you know, the shredding build. Hasn't got something like a Sundered Sky for heal, but we'll get out safely with the ult and the flash. Not really sure why you're focusing so much on the Sion lane here. Well, I suppose it can be very important later. But, yeah, really stopping Cube from having a free lane. But no, I don't necessarily think, you know, I mean, Vampire's been creative and engaging from ahead of the game, but I don't think he's changed that much. We just look at the last game, right? Had an awful Poppy game, right? LPL sends 14s to Worlds this year. It depends on the MSI results. If you're the second best region at MSI, then you will send, no. You send, wait, how many do you send? I think it's, do you send 4th seed from everything? I think it's 3, but then the winner of MSI goes as well. Ah, it gets a bit weird. Yeah, exactly. If you think that Vampire has improved off of like engages like that, which I think is an NIP mistake as well as a Vampire good play. I don't think that happens against teams which, you know... Hang on a second, Karis in a bit of a bad spot here. We'll flash out of Soul Fan. PP God gets good value there. The winner of MSI is qualified for Worlds. Now, I knew that, but I didn't know if it gives them an extra slot as well as also being a top 2 team. Like, does it just give you an instant qualification, or does it give you a 4th slot as well, you know? I wouldn't rate most supports on Alistair either in the LPL. I do. I think Alistair is actually one of the best LPL supports. I think that On is a good Alistair player. I think Mako is typically a good Alistair player. I think Crisp is too. I think Alistair is actually one of the comfort supports here in the LPL. Alright, Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. Second Dragon for NIP if they get it. Behind 1,000 gold. NIP, in Sion's in a decent spot. Normally he's expected to be behind this matchup against the Aatrox. Gone to pop the cull as well. The winner of MSI gets a slot, and the finals region gets a slot. Right. All regions send 3 except the top 2, which send 4. Okay, fair play. That's good. Oh, but it's the best of 5 from planes. Yes, the 4th seed of both regions does play a single best of 5 planes. Ooh, ult from Shanji, getting a decent trade onto Cube, but I don't know about this. The Black Cleaver from Aatrox and the Conqueror stacking makes it a little bit harder to take the extended trades. Helper coming in from Victor now, so giving up the dragon, and instead saying, let's go fight around the top side. The World Ender ends itself, and Cube goes down. So, NIP, quick play. And we'll convert this into a side lane turret, but they're losing pressure in both lanes now across the place. Vampire goes forwards and Leave is safe. Vampire overplaying a little bit now, and his ultimate might not even be enough to save himself. Goes down the ground majority of his HP, but NIP don't even get the top tower. Is killing the Aatrox that important? They lose mid lane turret, they lose dragon, they don't get the top side. Feats of Strength goes over to WE, so they get the first tower. I don't think that's a very good trade, is it? First day of Worlds, BLG versus T1 in a best of 5 series. I mean, yeah, it does sound hype, but then also you realize the team that goes out is still going to be better than half the teams in the competition. Like 4th seed from LPL or LCK is still going to be better than most EU and NA teams. Maybe half is too much, but you know what I mean, right? 4th seed from LPL and LCK has historically been performing well at Worlds. Monkey starting up the Herald. Yeah, cool. Yeah, DRX won Worlds for sure. Absolutely worth it mentioning that one. Shanji has ult. Can go towards the top side of the map. And here he goes through the mid lane, picks up a couple of them. The Herald is already gone. And Vampire tanks up the Sion engage. He might die for this, and that is a bit of a problem. Vampire, see what happens when he doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the ult. Can't really play like that at all. Double kill over to Dermby. They lose the Herald, but they get a lot of gold. Now that is much better from NIP, choosing a much better fight with much better engage angle. T1 with 4th seed last year? Oh yeah, so they were, yeah. Wait, were they 4th or 3rd? Whatever. Anyway, 4th seed is definitely a buff in some points, isn't it? Wave pushing on top side now. Dermby. Yeah, he's set up to carry. Last game, he was giving up a lot of gold to make plays around the map and give gold over to Leave instead. Now he's actually getting the farm. He's the one getting the side lane. They do lose that Herald. But I suppose on the other side of it, they don't get to pick up the eye. It's not in inventory, so... What happens here? It goes down, punted away from the objective, and you can't pick it up. Karis pinned against the wall. Taeyeon not really able to get as much auto attacks down as he would have liked, and even if it is into the Sion, so he's not dealing damage to someone that's actually winning the fight. And the eye goes down. So, they get the smite, don't actually get the objective. NIP walk away with some extra gold onto Victor, and now they're happy with that. Cube on bot side again. Dermby, very, very strong, using the grab field to zone him off the tower so we can't get as much farm as possible. Daki wants to jump on him before he gets back into tower range. Chooses not to, though. Instead to hit the tower. Conqueror being stacked up by Cube. A little bit scary. Most of the HP down on that bot turret. Yeah, I wonder if there's a fallback plan for... The winner of MSI doesn't make playoffs in their own region in summer. It has occasionally happened before where MSI completely... because you know what happens, right? MSI is one meta. They come back to summer. The meta is completely different and they can't play the game. That has occasionally happened. Where we see teams going to MSI from a region and then completely bottling it later in the year. I mean, obviously, summer is different from Worlds as well. I really hate that the meta is so different from the qualifying series and the qualifying splits to Worlds. Because basically you're saying, we're going to give you a test, which will qualify you for this other test, which is on completely different material. Especially this year with Fearless Draft changing. Absolutely. Absolutely with Fearless Draft changing everything. I have to say, I'm getting a bit tired of Fearless Drafts. I miss seeing people on their best champions all the time from top teams. It does make it more interesting for bottom teams. In the LPL, that was less of an issue anyway, though. I think if you're talking about Fearless Draft being a problem for the LPL, I don't think you watched the LPL. Basically, we already played random stuff. But I think for, you know, bottom tier LEC, LTA teams and LCK teams, it does make a difference. But I think for our top tier teams, I want to see them on their best picks. I want to see them on their best picks. Tower's going to go down. Doomby gets even more gold, heading towards a Riftmaker third. Or it might even be, I suppose it could be the Bloodletter's Curse for that shred on DOT. Shanji still behind in this top lane matchup because he was not given a side lane turret gold. Dragon getting started by NIP. Teleport available for Shanji. This sign is very important to NIP's team fight. Monkey could go over the wall, look for a Cyclone. Has Flash. Vampire has Flash, full HP. Well, not full HP now. That's a problem. Half HP makes it much harder to play. Good Ezreal over the wall. Leave repositions. Aki comes in. Great ultimate from him, but he does spin the Cyclone onto his own team. Is that going to matter? No, I don't think it is. Alistair goes down. And yeah, turns out, if Alistair's not full HP, makes it much harder to make those plays he did earlier. Vampire, one good fight around the grubs, has not really been mirrored so far after an easy early start from him. That's gone. Immediately gone onto now is the Ruinous variety. Much easier to take it down and tank because you can just stand in melee range. Whereas the other one, you have to kind of space out from it as your melee's a little bit later on. That's gone. Goes down. NIP will get themselves the buff to all of their dragons. And the grubs as well, the two which they have. And of course get the flower patch as well. With so many champions that can fulfill the same role, I like Phyllis. So I understand that to a degree, but then there's also some special champions like Knight Zari or Zeka Silas and Akali, or, you know, Fake LeBlanc back in the past too. Bin on Renekton or Jax. Stuff like that, you know? That kind of thing is genuinely... I feel like you should not be able to beat a team if you can't beat their best champions. You know, are you better than BLG playing Ahri with Knight over a whole series? Are you better than T1 if you couldn't get past their Caitlyn Varus bot lanes and stuff like that? Alistair gonna Hex Flash over here. Shanji does have Flash and ult. Likely you're just forcing both of these at best. The ult comes through. Flash comes over and he ults. They commit how many people? 4 people towards bot side for this? Now there is the threat of actually going under the tower again. Does he want to die for the wave clear? There are 4 grubs here. Big investment here from WE. But they will get 2 turrets from it. Tane uses his own ultimate. Varus ult will to chunk out Aki with the arrow landing afterwards. NIP feeling a little bit of sleep on the map, but I guess Dermby's just calling, look, I'm taking in a turret, I don't care. He has a Riftmaker anyway. His 3 item is here. He's getting a lot of gold. I think Dermby's just saying, look, if I get gold, I don't care. Which is completely fine, I think, in this game. I think in this kind of game, this is where... TBH Scouts had a better Ahri than Knight this year? No, that is not true. I'm an Ahri main with several million points, and I'll tell you just unequivocally, Knight still is the best Ahri in the world. If you watch the individual players, the way he approaches team fights, Scout is a good Ahri, and I'd put him as top 5 right now, but Knight is the best Ahri in the world, and I say that as probably the most qualified person to talk about Ahri in professional broadcasts around the world. But also, are you better if your one champion is not available? Well, that shouldn't be available with regular bans anyway. But then there's a trade-off in draft of which champions are the ones which are important to leave through. Now, I think there probably should be. Scout has a much better champion pool than Knight. I also don't think that's true as well. In the current patch, maybe. But I don't think that's true as well if you look at Knight historically. I think that BLG are completely running it right now, so it's very hard to tell that. I think that... And if you look at BLG, I mean, you have to look at Wei Elkanon first. And Bin's also not in great form. Bin can't even play frickin' Ambassador as a priority pick. Program Sion comes into the mid lane. Don't think he's got the best angle here, but he does just about get onto the front line, but he's dying very, very quickly, and he has been put in front of an on-hit Varus. Jinzhao goes in, but he might just go down anyway. It's all on the Victor. How much can Doomby do? He is very, very fed. He needs to turn the damage around, and he has done a lot of that. Karras has to flash away. Still, 1 for none. NIP take more HP off of the team, but lose the member. Everyone talks about Faker's Ahri and how much he loves the champ. Do you think it's his best champ, though? It's not Faker's best champion, no. It's very good, and I think he's still a top 5 Ahri player in the world when he's on form. Well, I say that. In important matches, he's the top 5 player of Ahri. In regular matches, he can stumble a bit. In terms of his best champion, no. I think his Galio is probably his best. His Galio is very, very good. His Ahri is great, though. I think, yeah, maybe on current form, it's worth the discussion. And his is very good, too. On the other hand, shouldn't the best team have mastery of the most number of champions? For sure, it's a factor in it, but you should be able to win through having mastery of a select few matchups too. Teleport in. Victor. Ah, Doinby, you are so important. Double teleport coming through. Doesn't flash. The combo is very, very tanky with this build, and that's the bonus of it. Has the Rift Maker stacking up towards that. Omnivamp will survive. That is the bonus of this build. You are harder to kill in moments like that. And gets away with one, really. I think that's a Seeker's gone, right? I don't think it's the full Zhonya's. Yep, that's a Seeker's gone for free. W have to pull off of the Baron. I suppose the NIP will take that fact that they don't have to contest that and potentially have a flip for the Baron. The fact that he gets out of there is illegal. Well, that's what you get with this build. Shanji kind of forgetting that he's super... Yeah, you know... Oh, hang on. Vampire died. Oh, no. It was 1-4. Ah, it was 1-4. I completely screwed it up. Ah, whatever. Colorcaster doing play-by-play, by the way. Azael makes it look easy. Dragon started up by NIP. I mean, with the Ruinous Atacard and stacking up Mountain Dragons, I think WB shouldn't be allowing this to go over, but what choice do they have, I suppose? Vampire lucky to get out of that one. I mean, Scion getting the resist is a problem. He did get shredded in that last fight, but gets... hang on a second. Vampire will get out of vision this time, but... The rest of the team kind of misses the memo a bit. Yeah, Mecha, I missed that. I missed the 1-4. I'm tired. I've been casting several hours a week for 2 weeks straight, and it's early, and I need more caffeine. Actually, I do have a coffee. I could just drink it, but hey, whatever. Don't expect flawless casting today, folks. My bad. Well, NIP on Soul Point, 2-man dragons buffed up by the Ruinous Atacard. Doinby is very strong, as we've seen. This is the kind of play from this build which I wanted. I am not a fan of Roa if you're not using their HP to achieve something. You have to adapt your playstyle to the build, much in the same way that I don't like... Look, I've only liked Knight playing the Roa build in terms of how the way he's playing individually. Obviously, in the game he did play it. His team completely sprinted it, so it's not... it still didn't even work out for him there. But... You have to adapt your playstyle to the build. You can be a bit more aggressive. You can walk forward, take another skill shot. Thank you, I appreciate it, folks. Kind comments. 3 items for Leave. Leave is in a point where he can carry 2. That being said, no, Taeyon has the Terminus. That Shred can get some resist off of Shanji. Oh, PP got caught out by Alistair. Leon is pretty tanky. Does get a Solar Flare through. Is there any extra play to be made? That's a lot invested from Vampire, though. And I have to say, PP God going down, but Vampire using his Summoners and his ult. I actually wonder, in the current game state, because the Alistair needs to get onto the backline, I actually wonder if that's a bad thing for WE. This is that kind of thing where, you know, you are a more rookie support. You are someone that's a little bit around. But, I mean, NIP don't need to care about engages right now. Leave will jump forwards. Karras doesn't have flash, and he's just dead. But the reason they walk up like this is because, you know, they think they have the support diff, but Vampire's not on the map anyway. Monkey's now caught out on the side. He might be able to 1v1 Aki. In fact, he probably does. Aki needs a little bit of help here. Pops his ultimate. Cube comes through. Taeyon trying to get something onto that. The fight's getting very, very split. Leave is not doing damage right now. Where is Victor? Kills off one player there. Gets some damage onto Cube. Leave manages to disengage a little bit. Still has the barrier. This fight has been absolutely all over the place. Taeyon. Oh, the snipe from Leave. Ezreal gets a last kill. And because the Alistair isn't there really achieving much with the flash and the ultimate being down, NIP can walk around these fights so much more easily. The CC just fell off, and now NIP get themselves the Baron after a WE. Maybe fancy it themselves after getting that pick onto PP God. I mean, Leave was absolutely sublime in that fight. What an incredible Ezreal fight from the AD carry of NIP. I mean, let's just watch leaving this fight, right? Back end of this. When it starts around to this point, Vampire comes back, but you know, he doesn't have flash, doesn't have ult. And yeah, I mean, he just kind of into play for free. There's no real point headbutting an Ezreal away at this point because he has the Shojin. You hit 2 Qs and you get your E back up. Oh, great snipe. Was on vision here for the last bit too, but then Monkey just has nothing left. Jesus, that's nasty. So, from 2-1 and 2 start to 2-5 and 6, Vampire having a much less good late game than his early game. NIP made a lot of mistakes to give him some good highlight reels early into the game. But this is why, when we saw that play earlier, it sounds a bit cynical, me saying, well, actually, is it a mistake from NIP? And it feels like, you know, trying to invalidate the play. Well, it is kind of invalidating the play a little bit, because I look at what happened there in that early play, and I thought, you know, he's full HP with Flash and Ultimate. That's kind of like the prime Alistair spot. That's the A5 Wagyu beef. This was a little bit more like a rump steak, the way his ass has been kicked a little bit later on. Great poke coming from Doomby. Doomby's been playing very well. I don't like the Roa build unless you're playing it like Doomby, being a bit more of a battle mage, someone who can walk up and be a bit more tanky. Getting good damage down too. And he can actually survive through the bruises. When he's against the Alistair and the Wukong, the Victor can actually survive these plays. Shanji's going to walk up, take the turret. Shanji's had a decent game on the Sion, I suppose. Especially for a player which I'm watching to regain some comfort. If he can play the Sion well, that might be important for NIP later. Aki, mixed series today, I think it's fair to say. There's, not sure where that was going, PP God. Taeyeon decides, look, you missed your ultimate. I'll make you feel better, I'll miss mine too. Do we have any more plays we made from WE? Shanji has Flash and all, can't really go onto him. Dragon is available, would be Mountain Soul for NIP, should probably cover that earlier. It is being started up, Leave, alone on this side of the map. But he's very, very mobile. Once you get that Shojin, as we said, you land 2 Qs, things get a bit problematic. Vampire walks up for vision, and immediately loses all of his health bar. He has to use that ultimate, and now the Alistair is down. Usefulness again, Cube stunned up. Oh, hang on, Leave actually might be able to look for a jump over the wall there, I would have thought. Maybe not without Flash. Mountain Soul over to NIP, and I think that's just game, isn't it? Impact is your top lane GOAT, FYI. I think for longevity, there's no contest there. He's made the most worlds of any top laner ever, right? What's my GOAT roster? I mean, I think Zeus is getting very close towards top lane GOAT. I think that for jungle, I would put Canyon. Mid lane Faker, obviously. I don't think that's ever a contest. Sadly for other players in that role. AD carry, the AD carry is probably the closest one. And I think support, it's between Mako and Carrier, maybe? Mako for longevity, Carrier for peak. And also he's got longevity kind of creeping up on him too. You can say SKT back-to-back world champions to GOAT 5. I disagree with that. I think because they also barely won domestically during that time, got schooled in MSI. They just ended up peaking during Worlds. Worlds is big, but they lost a lot during those years. And they also came second in the 22 Worlds too. I mean, I guess that's a decent one, but you know, their actual tournament win rate much lower than some other great rosters at the time. I would say that 2015, 2016 SKT was a higher peak than 23, 24 SKT back-to-back Worlds winners. That's the argument, right? In fact, we had a talk about that on one of the podcasts we did with Rich and Kira. Shanji is so strong, Jesus Christ. 3 Mountain Dragons. The extra Mountain Soul on top of it. NIP just kind of waiting for the game to win now. Bloodletter's Curse. Even more HP for Dernbeat. And also builds out that Haunting Guides. Gives you that Shred. The DOT starts to tick over a bit. Oh, WE. Well, I guess Vampire has his flash and ult up again, so maybe he can make a big play. But my problem is now, even if you get a massive play onto Dernby, he has just a ridiculous tanky build to go through. And it's worth noting, you know, if he puts down his Gravstorm and his Gravfield and his Arcane Storm, Chaos Storm, he gets his Riftmaker stacked up. He'll get his everything stacked up. And, I mean, you don't. You have your Mountain Soul. If you go into Zhonya's after that point, just kind of revive through that. Hang on a second. Vaki Bat Flash there. Vampire flashes forward. I don't think that's necessarily the play you want of those. He fails the headbutt. Back. Dernby comes into the play. And look how tanky the goddamn Victor is. He's lost no HP, but he's healing up for the Aatrox. WE failing to engage again. Aki bad flash. Vampire worse flash. WE lose top lane and support. NIP will go towards the Baron, and that'll be their victory lap for this game. Elder up in 3 minutes. Might reach that point, but NIP smooth sailing from here. So hard for W to cut through the mountain shields. So hard to go through them. But like, Dernby has almost 4,000 HP. 176 armor. A little bit of magic resist too, because it gets buffed up by the Mountain Soul. That and Mountain Dragons. And he's got the Zhonyas as well. I know even if you do start cutting through that, you got the Omnivamp to deal with. Vampire on a flank, has the Hex Flash, is spotted out here with his laser over the wall. So his Hex Flash fails. Aki has himself a GA, will lose it. Cyclone starting to go forwards, but again, they can't cut through the mountain shields. There's just too many tank stats. Vampire pops his ult. Cube's running away, though, and it is just running away from Dernby. The Chaos Storm starts to come through, has ran out, sadly. Alistair goes down, Leona goes down, but the damage is still so high HP from NIP. Taeyeon, he can't do enough. The Grabfield comes through. Leave has all the tankiness he needs to. And Dernby finishes up for a full house between Dernby and Leave picking up the kills. NIP, it's a 2-0. WE had some bright moments, but NIP, clearly better team on the day. Chanji teleporting back in. The million HP zombie queuing his own teammates. So Dernby will turn golden in the Nexus. And that'll be our first series of the day. And we will now wait for Top Esports versus TT for our second series. So the Rel probably... The Rakan's better in lane, I think. TT need to have a good bot lane laning phase. If they don't, I think this game falls apart quite a lot. If Varus manages to get Alistair out of lane, not too far behind, allow themselves to make some plays across the map, I think TT have a lot of issues. I think that Rumble is very nasty into Shinzao, who obviously can't dash out of that ultimate. You stop taking damage, you can get slowed and pop your ult for free. Gwen versus Rumble, that's a free win ticket? I don't know about that. I don't know. I think that Jax into Shinzao in the jungle is a good matchup for Kanavi. If Kanavi ever has... Hey, credits for TT fans showing up and showing some gyos. Always appreciate that. Some signs in the crowd which I can't read because it's in Mandarin. Hey, TT beating BLG just the last split in a best of 5. That'll have got them a lot of fans. Nice start, boy. Just let me know what audio is like, by the way. I do want you to be able to hear loud and clear the game sounds. And hopefully that's fine. And hopefully the audio is not going to be a big problem on this as well. Oh, no worries, guys, no worries. Also, I had my social things on the bottom left, so it does, Oh, just the audio is just a little bit desynced on the stream in general, but hey. Hey, that happens, I guess. Alrighty. Level 1. Rakan hits the Q, and then suddenly the trade's evened out. That's the problem with laning against the Rakan. The sustain from the Q is so disgusting for laning phase. Kanavi, Raptor start, was spotted doing Raptors. Raptors, Krugs, red buff, something else? What's the plan there? Wants to save the red buff for a little bit longer on the clear. Has gone for the Conqueror on the Jax. There's no point going for the Grasp in jungle, right? Does change the way that you play out some of your fights and extended trades, though. Look at this. Just the sustain from the Q. Really nice. Of course, it's really when you get max ranks of your Q where it becomes a big problem. Cream. Decent laning phase of the... Well, the Akali versus the Taliyah is actually fairly okay in terms of an individual matchup. You can kind of trade through the wave fairly well. Taliyah can't really damage you while you're stood in those minions. Who's my favorite player? Ooh. I think Knight right now. I think Knight's my favorite player. I've just really enjoyed watching him be the best Ahri player in the world for several years now. Cream's Akali was his best pick in OMG. You know, funnily enough, Doomby shouted out Cream at the start of his career and said he was the second best Akali within the LPL after Rookie, who's the best at that point. Or it might have been Knight. Can't remember what year he was saying that in. Knight win Worlds. I think Knight deserves to win Worlds at some point. He's been a generational player. Of course, didn't look like it the last series they had, but BLG is in all sorts of issues. We'll have to see how they recover that, if they do at all. Be such a big problem. Oh, 369 missing out on the cannon, but looking for a better trade instead. If you can get the overheat, maybe you can get such a big play hit that it won't matter. Gets the damage, doesn't take a tower shot. Yes, he misses the cannon, but he'll deny one over the other side anyway and force Hoyder back. So he chooses to give up the cannon to get presence in lane. You'll notice that both of them have gone for flash. Hoyder not going for the exhaust, which you sometimes see of the Gwen versus the Rumble. Knavi getting topside scuttle, went through his full bot side. Gets everything in topside, will recall in the enemy jungle. This is the thing which you do when you want just information on the second clear. It's better to recall in the enemy jungle, drop a ward just before you finish your back. I mean, in this case, you have a ward being dropped by Cream, so it's less important, right? But you can do that and just give yourself a little bit more information to play your second clear out of the game. Has himself a Sheen first back, which is clean back for him. Double teleport in from the solo laners of top esports. And first backs to the game are completed for the top side of the map. Knight Silas building Medjay's every game was something. He does it for Ahri as well, and actually it's the correct thing to do. Other players aren't doing it because they don't understand the item. You should buy it every game. You should buy it in most games, actually, if you're snowballing and playing acceleration champions. Ooh, Chris going forward. Maybe going a little too far, actually. But one of the reasons Knight's Ahri is the best in the world is because he builds Medjay's and he does snowball off of it. And that's something which, you know, I look to see from snowball mid laners. Someone like Cream, of course. Missing the cannon there. Has to dodge out on that cube. Just miss out on, you know, the 80 gold, which the first cannons the game will work with, though. What happened to BLG? Knight and BLG? I mean, Knight looked good in the series before that, and it was only his Azir game, which actually looked very bad. The other ones, I think he was just getting ran down by his teammates. Well, Kanon are very inconsistent and Bin's dropped off form. Kanavi looking towards bot side, has level 5. Has the Sheen. Of course, for the instant burst damage. Beitram, bot side of the map as well. The Shenzhou really struggles to play into the Jax. Top lane, 369 is managing the wave very well here. TT on a good day can beat the best. I really like 1xN. I love when they find a good identity. I do think that Hoya can fall into the abyss sometimes. I think that Setab is not always the best carry unless he's on something like a Yone, which can be... That's kind of like his primary pick for me, really. Can be a bit of a problem. Cadril who wins AL or Weibo. Why are you adding Cadril? I think that anyone's legend should win against Weibo, but Weibo are notoriously unpredictable. We'll see whether Weibo have had a file under their ass and will bounce back later. Of course, they lost a particularly upsetting series for them against FPX, but they were just outschooled. They were schooled by them. They were outplayed by them. It was a genuine win. But we'll see that after this series, of course. I mean, if Kedge was in chat, hi, but, you know, you know. Beitram, going on to the grubs. Knavi, looking to contest. Always has been a jungler that likes contesting these early objectives. Beitram gets one, gets two, uses the smite in the second one. But Knavi will stop the full 3 going over. Of course, Shinzao doesn't want to fight the Jax. This is why you pick it. Level 6 now for both junglers. Cream, that's the E. Just uses it for the electrocute, won't follow it. Kanavi now going on to the red buff. And the thing is, you now know you have a Rumble who can respond from a very long distance away. You see 369 pushing out topside. which means he can go rotate over this maybe. Cream's coming in, has the level 6 as well. And here comes the Jack. Setup coming over. But Feather's on the roam quicker than Chris. Chris isn't here quite yet. He misses. It's Counter-Strike, great value. But Cream maybe in a bit of trouble anyway. The perfect execution, good damage. But I think Top East was lucky to get out of that one. Feather roaming to the play first was critical. Chris caught a little bit slow on the move there. You have 3 job interviews on Monday? Jeez, good luck. Hoping for the best there. Wonder how many job interviews Top East was had at first stand. Ah, yes, I'd like to apply for this supermarket where I can work in anonymity. Oh, God. I'm very surprised Top East survived in that topside play without even using any summoners. That's the big thing, actually. How the hell did that happen? Mine more like KT Rollstore or Mad Koi. On a good day, these teams can beat the best. You don't have to agree with this analysis, but like KT of last year could actually do that. Don't know about this year's KT. I mean, I would have said Weibo were closer towards that, where they were like that identity to but to a higher level, right? Where Weibo, particularly when they had Crisp and when they had the Shy, had incredible upper ceiling, but wouldn't often reach it. So they've reached it in some incredible important moments. And then, of course, when Tarzan came in, they still managed to have that identity to a certain level, too. Crisp leaving kind of changed that, though, right? Weibo, consistently inconsistent. Probably the best branding I've ever done for a team. It's a shame, because people didn't frickin' listen to the broadcast to learn that. I did a top-tier job of teaching people about Weibo and the way that they play and made it a marketable thing. Weibo, consistently inconsistent. And because everyone was watching other stuff, they didn't get to hear about one of my better moments of my career. Whatever. I'm going to stop mauling. Dragon's going down. Top East will still take it. Sorry for some of the highlights. Chris going to get caught out. Does have the level 6. Not real potential to go towards here. Feather punted away. Has to flash for the E-back to the team. And the extra stun comes through. Hang on a second. Chris could be in a bit of trouble here. Because his ultimate is just about to run off. Still lasts long enough for 1XM to not kill him. Baytron takes a camp away. He's getting a lot of farm up, actually. Navi has a couple of camps to claw back. Went for that play towards that bot side. Wasted a lot of time on that dragon, of course. One of the big problems of a jungler's decision making is how much time can I spend doing other stuff but farming. Farming is time is your most important resource as a jungler. I've said this a million times on various casts. Chris, roaming about the map. We did say, important that Varus can do well in laning phase and then kind of unlock Alistar later into the game. That's now happened. Feather lucky to get away with his life, but Chris did use both the summoners, so kind of a bit of a wash there. Dragon Grub's now spawning. But just need to be a little careful. The Poke Varus, good value there. Of course, Jackie Love notoriously good at the Poke Varus. And now Top Esports get themselves the winning share of the Grubs. Will get themselves the Mites with 4. No worries, Montez. Montez. Patreon walking up. Can they make this a 3 for 3 in terms of the growth? Kanavi did use the Smite and walks in for the Counter-Strike instead. Maybe wants to pull that ultimate. That's a bit dangerous there from Kanavi. Will get out alive. Here comes Setup, though. How deep does he want to go? The Poke Varus gets the arrow in 369. Still has the Equalizer. Where's that going? Cream also has the Burst of Execution and goes over towards Hoya. Still no Equalizer pull. 369 can use it at any point and chooses it to use it now. Maybe not the best play ever from the top lane of Top East. I feel like there was a big ultimate waiting for him. So, all things said and done, 3 for 3 on the Grub. So 369 goes over the play. The bullet time stops him. And he'll have to flash out. Beichuan still has his flash. Might have to use it soon. And the auto attack comes through. The arrow from Jack Love. Auto attack from Cream. Will mean they get a kill on the board. Get themselves first kill of the game. Even though it's messy. TT forcing Kanavi back off of those Grubs meant that it got a little bit dicey for a while, but TT just less clean in the fight. Even with the equalizers from 369, not getting the best value. I don't think Kanavi expected everyone to come around the corner. Does survive, of course. Good counter-strike. Kind of realizes he needs to turn on them to get the value from his ultimate as well. Hit it on 3 people, get as many resists as possible. Cream very nearly getting the clean kill. But not the best equalizer. Not the best equalizer. I feel like he could have used it a little bit earlier or a little bit later. Ah, Chris was stunned out of his combo. I did think that was the case, but I was talking about other stuff during that fight. How much would I have to pay you to do an LEC segment about how good Belveth is to convince teams to play it? Well, that was less about the money. Ah, the auto-attack audio flight. Couldn't get away from that one. That's more about it actually. Look, if it's actually true, I'll do it for you. No, I just want to do a good job. I see the kappa, but, you know. I mean, Belveth was good at some points. Kind of harder to play it now. You need to be able to start on enemy raptor camp, really. Or pounds, yeah, euros. I mean, you can pay me in dollars and I can use them anyway. I like TT as a team on the whole, but they have been on bad form recently. Further, we'll find Kanavi. Gets whacked by a Triforce. Triforce the Thunder Sky in the jungle matchup. Kanavi not ahead though. I mean, Batron done a good job of keeping ahead in terms of farm, not allowing Kanavi to get too far ahead. Of course, that could change at any moment. Crisp has ult, and he can start to cleanse things through. I don't think you can outplay this that easily. That being said, Crisp is running out of his ultimate. Oh, it's so close. Hoya will get that last kill. It's not the cleanest cut dive ever, and Hoya remains alive. Now, Kanavi going to get hit by the fully heated up turret. Approaches too soon, and Hoya, I mean, he survives in the 1v2v3 dive. Feather gives his life for it, but you take that as Hoya. That's a happy Gwen. See you, Montes. Batron. Back to clearing. Not the cleanest dive from Top Esports. Dragon available. But with so many ultimates just to use from Top Esports. Don't think you're realistically contesting this. Kanavi will go for a full clear instead, presumably. Cream on the top side, using those grubs there. Dragon taken by TT, evening the Dragons 1-1, grubs 3-3. Feather doubling forwards, 369, no equalizer. Batron knows that, also knows that Chris doesn't have. Oh, 369 owned turret. Hoya does have needlework if they want to go particularly aggressive. 369 goes to the overheat, needs to get a trade now before everything else kind of goes to pot. Cream, no teleport. Kanavi going with the counter-strike, buying a little bit of time. Hoya burning down. There is a Leandries, and maybe a bit of time until you can get yourself that Jaxel. He's going to die before it comes through, though. Can Cream teleport through? 369 doesn't have himself much to really play with. Cream choosing not to teleport down to the player, though it did just come off a cooldown instead of pushing a wave into the inner turret. So, 2 kills over to TT. A tower for them, but Cream trades for a tower on the other side. TT walking away the better from the play. Jekyll pushing out that mid lane. Guess TT were losing some farm in other lanes across the map. Topias was not quite able to buy enough time in that boss. That's a lot of damage from Jackie. Poke Ferris does way more damage than I expect from some players. Jekyll just does more damage on this champion than I expect him to. Is that the blue chroma on Infernal Virus? I feel like it is. Batron, going through the top side of the map. Hoya and Feather, off vision. This has been a very interesting game to watch support. I actually think the support movement has been the most important thing in this game so far. Feather and Chris both trying to roam off of vision, put good vision down. Swifty's on one side for Chris, who does move around the map a little quicker. Belveth into Neferi and Viego is the reason. Right. Is that really the thing? Alright, Jackie Love trying to clear out here. Cream. Hang off to the bot side of mid, maybe expecting a play to be happening. Had the teleport anyway. 369 does too. Only person without that global is Hoya right now. Herald started up. Kanavi using the counter strike. Long cooldown. Won't have that for now. TT in the river. All ultimates available for both sides. Seta maybe doesn't have that ult. Kuchambo, it's Jackie Love. Chris has to go in and gets a 3-man pulverize. Kanavi comes in for the counter-strike, and the equalizer is actually pretty good. Good bullet time, though. Puts things into a bit of a different scenario. Cream still kills the AD carry, though, and Hoya burns down. That's the problem with the Misfortune. You can't really stand and fight and use that bullet time. There's so many ways onto you. 369 was maybe wondering about it. Well, he didn't have that flash, but maybe wondering how much extra damage you get across the wall. Top esports. 2 for 1. 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Actually, Feather died in that too. But the Herald not finished because Kanavi died. Xayah might have been a better pick. The problem is the Xayah doesn't win laning phase at all. She just gets slaughtered by the Varus in lane. Xayah notoriously bad against long-range poke comps. So what happens here? Good combo onto Jack. Lover doesn't step that out. Has to flash out of Feather's initial engage. Great interrupt by Chris, who cleanses through the stun, the charm rather, to get onto that. The Varus ult very, very valuable. But yeah, I mean, we see Kanavi get caught out by a ton of burst damage. Not that tanky. Hoya doesn't have a flash, and there's an E on top of him. Perfect execution. Part 2 not even needed. Cream. A little bit of extra help from Kanavi. Takes down Hoya. Are we going in? Counter-strike starting to get charged up. Is there a bullet time? No, there isn't. That's a big thing, but there's not that much health on the Jax. Kanavi is massively overestimated his tankiness in that one. Not sure about that, but the equalizer pinned against the wall definitely helps. No perfect execution, but there's enough damage onto Feather, who gets caught out by a Varus ult. TT. Ooh, Chris, no ult, no flash. Otherwise, I think you would definitely be going towards that one. TT. Just getting a little worse off from these plays. We'll say, though, Kanavi's Jax seen better games. We're getting the most out here. What did I think about Vladi Zakali yesterday? I actually didn't get to see that much of that game. I was too busy reviewing. It looked very good, though, from what I saw. Enjoyed it. TT gonna take this one. I haven't seen Gwen losing a game yet. You might just be about to. Top esports, I think they look fairly confident how this game's going. I think the one thing for Top esports, which is a bit of a bummer for them, is the Jax just not being that powerful yet. Dragon spawning now. I mean, either team can afford to give one up. Is there a cross match to be made? Carly's going to take the bot lane out of her. Herald's still available. Metro going to take that. Top esports really needing some ultimates. I mean, this region, of course, very good at using cooldown economy, blowing some cooldowns, and then fighting when they're down. Kanavi has an ultimate backup. Chris doesn't have his. That's a big thing. The Alistair ultimate, very long cooldown. Bot turret not killed by Cream. Peels off of that. Doesn't have the teleport. Wants to be available for the play. Doesn't have flash as well. 1xN has the bullet time. Didn't have that for the last play, remember. Herald comes back up. Goes down rather. Not comes back up. Taken. Yeah. Dragon still on the table. Is Top esports the new BLG? I don't think they play them remotely the same way, so no. Depends what you mean by it. But if you're trying to liken them, if it's just they're winning, sure. But then they lost to IG the other day, so, you know, some questions still. I think Top esports are much better regular game players. I think BLG sometimes let their mental completely slip. Dragon being taken by TT. Crisp, no flash, has ult. Cream on the flank, spots out Hoya with the sweeper in the brush. Hoya will know he's been spotted too, though. Dodges away from the E. Crisp buffet should be Kanavi, driving towards mid lane. Will take that turret. Down it goes. Bot lane goes down at the same time. Equalizer just used to do something. Suppose stop TT quickly getting towards mid lane, or just get some poke down. Anyway, the fight's now ended. No local gold for that bot lane turret, by the way. Just the global gold, so losing out some value there at Top esports while the dragon play happened. The minions killed that bot lane turret. Mid lane, though, over towards Kanavi, will put him into a gold lead versus Shinzao. Not much, but it's there. Told you 1xN is mid, man. This is not about 1xN at all. 1xN is a very good AD carry, and, you know, he's shown enough games for that to be true. I think that 1xN is one of the great AD carries that could come out of the LPL. I think Leave and 1xN, their class of rookies, have been very, very cool to watch. Not always a big fan of his Misfortune, but this game is very hard for him to play. Misfortune, I think the draft makes it very, very hard to work things out. You know, you've got an Akali you can dive onto. You've got the Equalizer you have to pay attention to as well. That freaking overheat sound is ridiculous, man. But yeah, I think, you know, I think anyone who's watched the LPL will tell you that 1xN is actually very good. He's definitely a player to watch. That's the consensus. Hoya just freezing the wave here. So yeah, I mean, I would challenge you to talk to anyone who's watched the LPL. Anyone who's familiar with it. I'm sure they'll tell you great things about 1xN. It's a great player. Not had the best split. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It hasn't been, like, a star split. He was very good in split 1. And last year. And the summer before that, too. And, of course, one of his debut games was against JackeyLove Zeri. In the Zeri meta. Played so well and beat him in that game. Because of Aphelios. I miss 1xN's Aphelios. It's not even 1xN's choice meta. I think his Tristan has looked good. Well, I say that his game the other day was pretty poor. He's not had the best split, as I was saying. His Kai'Sa and his Jinx. He's also got a mean Samira, too, occasionally. But yeah, I think there's another comment in chat. Problem for TT is more about solo lanes. Completely agree. I think their solo lanes have been very inconsistent. Setab occasionally having good games, mostly having stinkers. Hoya, similar. This game, 1,000 gold down, insisting on playing carries and not necessarily getting the most out of it. Double knock up, and that is a great equalizer this time. Feather, is he going to burn down? Yes, he is. Leandri's in the Ignite, kills him very quickly. TT, playing in the wrong terrain, goes into the choke point, gets burned down. Is there a reason players often ignore blood petals? Well, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I think they're actually very important. Should take them when they're possible. Unless you're very quickly moving around the map. Chris gets another combo. Chris, of course, starting off that last fight. This is why the Var is so important to the Alistar. If you can get to this point in the game with the Alistar, you're feeling great. Flash ult now available too, of course. Full HP. Atkan going down. H1. Can't get anywhere close, and Cream starts diving. How do you play out this game when you have no CC for the Akali? TT walk up, and Cream just absolutely slaughters them. No smite, Atkan taken. TT, how do you play this game when you don't have any way to protect your backline? They had to do something earlier on. Use some of your early spikes to maybe get some good skirmishes, but you can't allow the Akali to just run the game. Feather's going to get burned down too. That is just disgusting damage from the Rumble. Setab's going to get jumped up by Kanavi as well. Another equalizer comes up, and Kanavi will clean up the play. TT falling apart. Absolutely falling apart. I think the mental is broken here from TT. They have struggled this split. TT have not found an identity for themselves. They were the aggressive, diving combo team in team fights in split 1, but they had the Vi and Bessa Kai'Sa compositions, the Ahri as well, the Setab, amongst other things. And 1xN walks up. I don't know what's happening here, man. Flashed away from Cream. I think they're losing track of where people should be on the map. The body language not looking good in the gameplay for TT. They're looking like a done team, folks. Sad to see from such a good performance to split 1, beating BLG in a best of 5. This is not what I want to see from this. TT are a fun team to watch it when they're comfortable, when they're on form. Great proto belt, straight into the backline. But there's no CC left. Beijing doesn't have his 3 talent strike. Hoya has nothing. You can't protect your AD carry. Top East was not taking prisoners here. And then obviously it goes from bad to worse with 369 just, you know, gets close to overheat, starts to flame spit at people. Feather has 0 resist. 369 goes into overheat, flashes out of the knockup, kills. Oof. 369's Rumble. He had a couple of duff ults earlier. It's been very, very good hit. Double Medjai's is called out in chat as well. Oh, that's a strong Rumble, man. Hoya probably just dies for this. Objective bounty is nice. It is, however, 4 Medjai stacks over towards 369. One of the better things about Atkan is that even if you do die, you don't actually lose your Medjai stacks. While all that's happening, Feather looks like he tried to combo onto Cream. It failed. And now they have no CC for the bullet time. They still have the Atkan. It's 27 minutes in. Very short game so far. Kanavi goes forwards, and Feather goes down. JackeyLove still has an arrow to throw into the play. Kanavi did lose his Atkan earlier somehow, some way. The bullet time comes out, but it is enough. The Collector surprising him with that extra execute. 1xN, at least able to get something there in such a hard game for the Misfortune. Medjai stacks now have to Cream for the assist too, though. Onto Feather. Top Beast will take double inhibitors. And Thunder Talk have been more like a rumbling in the clouds in the distance this game. Not near, not close. not a threat. So uncompetitive, this LPL sometimes, particularly in the Ascend group. I think when you have... you've got to be careful there, buddy. Rumble does a lot of damage. I think particularly when you're in Ascend group, there is the issue of teams like TT, WE, though, and sometimes FPX as well, although we did see them play well versus LG, rather they beat Weibo the other day. But particularly TT and WE, they just don't look like they belong in Group Ascend. Feather getting an engage over the wall. 3C's not wants to protect those Magi stacks. Needs to be a little bit careful. Doesn't have that flash, but he's done enough. Hoya comes into the play, but I don't think he's going to do enough either. Jackal has both summoners, and Cream comes to party. He has the execution part too if he really needs to. Goes in again and escapes with the E. Maybe even fly back in. Does he feel like... Oh, yes, he does. Flash is trying to do a mind game. Oh, he's feeling it. Flashes out of his own E. And TT getting styled on. Cream... Yeah, you know what? You deserve the style points. Great game from him. Magi's. Bumped up by the death cap. Magi's, the single highest AP item in the game once it is stacked. 145 AP at full stacks. You get the extra 30% on top of it from the death cap. And it goes to near enough 200 AP. It's 190 something when you get everything at 145. Back when they had the death cap's amp ratio actually got nerfed a little bit. Before that happened when it was at 30, I was like 35. Oh my god, 1x's just dead. He's just dead. He's just gone. This Akali is uncapped. The only thing which can stop Akali is an instant Rakan combo. Even the Slayer, I don't think can stop him at this point. Cream is having the time of his life. So Magi's at 20 stacks, 5 AP per stack, 100 AP, an extra, extra bit on top of it too. He's got more than a death cap worth of AP there. Shadowflame giving him 100. This is the highest AP Akali build you can possibly get. With some flat pen on top of it too. He is going to do horrible, horrible things, and it has been doing them the entirety of the game. How depressing has this got to be for TT? You have been utterly outclassed. Make it to Group Ascend and get decked by almost every team up here. Had the one win, of course, but in their 5th series. Feeling like they're a little out of sorts. Chris goes in, has the level 2 ultimate. The equalizer comes down. Varusol hits too. Patron losing a lot of HP. 1xN, again, just not able to stand and fight. There's no CC. TT have no answers to the long range of top esports on that equalizer and the Varus. And they have no answer to the diving carries as well. Kanavi going forward. It's going to get a knock-up from Feather, but now they have nothing left for the Akali. Cream can maybe just go in instead. The charm comes through. There is a little bit of tankiness. The bullet time does some work, but it's not enough. It's not nearly enough. Feather very, very nearly dying. Survives through the burn. Top esports have stayed in this base for a number of minutes now, and they have slowly whittled down these turrets. In a quick game, Kanavi flashing forwards to put a bow on top of the present. TT kept on the Nexus. The Varusol spreading. The corruption knows no limits here. Nexus falls. Top esports 1-0 in the series. Draft diff? I think it was. To an either. Suppose it's still just farm from Q range. They have no magic damage that much if they do this. They have a little bit from the Ornn, a little bit from the Leona and Sejuani. Lock in the Ezreal. Crisp is a very good Renata. Good start. Good shout out there. Crisp was one of the very best Renatas on release and since then, really. Even when Crisp was inconsistent, his Renata was very, very good. Crisp has been through a lot of phases. He went through the Hook Champion phase of Thresh Blitzcrank. He went through his melee support phase. I think, you go back a year, maybe a year or two. He was range support central. His Lulu was exceptional. His run for dear life. And oh my god, they're going to have to cling on the early game here. Let's hear the crowds once more. Some giants from both sides of the crowd. Hoya. Ooh. Dodges out of that. Is spotted though. 3C will spot him. Tries again maybe. Oh, dodges again. Hoya. Fancy feet. And spams the laugh. Why wouldn't you? Question in chat. Can you elaborate on Kalista in pro play? It always feels like she deals no damage, but I'm guessing I'm missing on something. Kalista does do damage at the 2-3 item mark when you get Blade and Rage Blade, which means that most of the time you don't see Kalista doing that much damage because most people are avoiding being in her range. What Who did TT beat FPX? Yes, they beat FPX, who of course then just beat Weibo, so, you know, happy days for FPX there. What Kalista does is control an area of the map early game. Very few things gain control over a Kalista. You can get control over the first wave or two maybe, but then once she hits the level 3 with the Renata, you are so cooked. And then she just continues pushing lanes. She stacks up on objectives well because of the Ren secure. She gives you engage from her ultimate and means you can play different supports like the Renata a little bit more safely, and the Nico was kind of popularized with the champion too because you could be so safe. Really good play there from Crisp actually. Gets the double E. Gets the passive mark as well. And of course, yeah, it allows you to play towards like very, very mobile mid and late game too, because they changed the way that Kalista's movement speed and her hops kind of calculated. They're much faster into the late game. This is really bad for TT. They don't have control of the wave at all. Level 2 hit. And now after this point, folks, you are not going to see 1xN and Feather be able to leave their tower very often at all. And if they do, it's a choice by Top Esports to allow them to do so. No worries, no worries. Kalista, the way that this is the same with Nidalee, actually. Nidalee and Kalista are team champions. Playing Kalista is a team sport, playing Nidalee is a team sport. Nidalee needs combinations from around the map. Needs to know that when she goes to bully out someone like the Sejuani on the top side of the map, it's Onivia doing, you have control enough on the map to make the most of it. Red buff, not been taken just yet. Beidchuan going to help over the other side of the wall. Kanavi spots this now. He has a red buff himself. Has the Conqueror. Beidchuan can't really step up to this. But the reason you can do this is because you have the Renekton pushing top side. That's a winning lane. You have the Kalista pushing bot side. That's a winning lane. Kanavi walks in, bullies Beidchuan out. He's going to start losing XP and gold. And the Nidalee starts to get ahead. One of the reasons Kalista is so prized in pro play is that because she controls bot lane so well and gets to roam towards players in the early game and fight in the early game so well, if you ever take an extended trade versus the Kalista, the Ren gets value. And as you can see right here, you know, massive control from Top Esports across the map. In fact, I've forgotten to do this, so I can just draw on the screen. In fact, is this working? Push up in bot lane, push up in top lane. Even the mid lane's pushing in. Beidchuan forced to go towards this bot side scuttle. Will just about be able to get it. Nidalee, what are they doing there? Hopping over into mid lane, looking to see if we maybe get a spear onto the wall onto Satap. There is a ward on Raptors, makes it a little easier. Crisp and Jackie Love, not often players which play with mini-maps on. They're pretty bad at getting 2v3'd. Wait, Kanavi's under turret here. Hang on, Satap might need to flash it. That's a problem. Can get the red buff on target. Oh, flashing from Beidchuan, who's going to get the first blood. Kanavi goes forward, has the red buff and does get it. Cream will die in response. And Beidchuan, oh my god, no, he doesn't. Gets the E4, gets the shield. Oh my word, Cream lives. Such a good player of the Yone. Played it so much over his career. And gets away with not just, well, he gets away without murder. Not me to say he gets away with it. He survives. Beidchuan gets nothing. Kill goes over to the Nidalee. Kanavi gets to go towards his topside camps. Kanavi is so happy. That is criminal. Kanavi is so happy now. We saw him on the minimap fishing for spears. Was wondering whether Satap would go for a Valkyrie or go for the flash backwards. Tries to flash predict that, can't get it. Leaves turret, tries to buy time. At least for Beidchuan to split the team. Goes down anyway. Oh, and that is so clutch. Means that the permafrost can't be proc. Ease back, so no extra auto. Gets the W for that last shield. Incredibly well played by Cream. Nida heal also helped. Yes, it did. Yeah, it did. The Soraka of the jungle. Kanavi now has a Dark Seal in inventory. And now we have, the Kalista walking up in mid lane. And again, just gets to control everything. This is one of the other annoying things to do. You're actually kind of pokey. Because if you throw your Q and you have a stack on the wave as well, if you hit the Q, you can kind of pull the rend, still get the rend set, you get the refresh on the cooldown of the and the mana. So what's happening now? Who do I think will go to the MSI from LPL? It's really hard to tell until we get some more information about our top teams. I actually think JDG will go at this point. I think JDG, AL, maybe Top Esports. One of those three. I think they're the ones which are on the best form right now. I think BLG are not. I think IG are not. I mean, they did just beat Top Esports, but they did lose versus BLG and AL. So, Navi, power farming through the grubs. Not able to get a farm advantage that high up on the table right now. He's too busy trying to, fight. Kanavi's not doing great this game. Going towards the grubs and wants to play through the early game, I suppose. Smooth criminal. Teehee. Oh, what a great joke you say in chat. Because of course you will. It was a great joke. Kanavi, power farm through the jungle. One of the biggest things about Nidalee is your farming mechanics, knowing you can start one camp as you're finishing the last one. Use that spear to aggro camps and do a hell of a lot of damage. Nidalee jungle clearing has been one of the most fun things to watch over the course of pro play. If you like the individual mechanics. I kind of... Hang on a second. That seemed decent damage there. White does go unstoppable though. Unstoppable, by the way. I was going to say this is some random lane swap, but I remember seeing someone making a video on how to out-math the anti-lane swap moving rolls in other locations. So this is because the lane swap mechanics, the lane swap timing is already off, right? Once you get to, you know, 4.5 minutes or whatever it is, the lane swap warning wears off. And that's when you often see it kind of coming through again. At some point in the game, you do see bot laners go towards mid lane. That tends to be, well, it used to be around 10 minutes or so. Now it's much earlier. If you're fighting around early objectives, which of course top esports want to, they'll often move the Callista around the map to ensure control of a certain area of the map. Because, as we said, Callista moves around the map, and in pro play it is prized because the Callista will give you unparalleled power over one part. If you want to move them towards top side, they can fight towards grubs. Sure, if you move them towards mid lane later on, a little early, that's fine because the Callista can do that very well. It's already 8 minutes into the game. Yep, I know, right? Oh, time flies when you're having fun. Slight gold leads for top esports. Hasn't exploded into anything yet, but still. Oh, 1x's gotta be careful. Stacking up the lethal tempo. Kind of spooky. Jackal probably shouldn't take the tower shot for that, but hey. Whatever. Callista's not at the blade spike yet. 369 still has a Q. They're going to start trying to put everything together. Dominus comes through and the knockup is failed. The double Q can come through from 369 now. That's a bit of a problem. The next time his Slice and Dice comes up, that could be an issue. When's his next Q? Uses his Empowered W. Needs to get himself the Empowered Q and can't get it. Doesn't expect page 1 on top side. 369 goes down. Not the first time we've seen 369 in an extended lane misjudging where the enemy team is. Did that a lot last year. Was better at it in split 1, but still something that we recall from recent history. Dragon goes to the side of top esports. 3 grubs and a dragon to them. Haven't dropped an objective yet. Kanavi now able to position himself on the bot side of the map. Batron doing an okay job of not falling too far behind in terms of individual gold, I suppose, given that there's a kill of piece. Maybe that's not so true. Only 10 CS down. I guess it could be much worse than Nidalee versus the Swajwani, couldn't it? Can Callista switch her oath mid-match? No, she can't. No. You know, one of the funniest things in League is when Silas and Callista are in the same game. Opposite sides, of course. Silas. I'm Christopher Walken. The Silas can change his oath. No, he can't change it. But he can choose. He does get the Black Spear in inventory, though. And he can give someone a chance to use his ult's feather. Currently, out of vision. Cream needs to be a little careful here. No 6 for 3 feather. Uses the ult, but body blocked. Cream gonna get body blocked again. And Baytran uses that Q flash to stop Cream from getting out. Well played for a TT. Baytran and Feather on the map in the last few minutes to hold top esports to account. Much easier for them to CC people in these random plays. Hoya now alone on this top side of the map. Needs to be quite careful. Doesn't have ult. Doesn't have flash. Navi starting to stack up that Conqueror. Third of the HP down from Hoya. Doesn't have the ult. He's dying here, probably. Not going to have a recall. You can't recall against Nidalee when you're under task. One of the more annoying things too. And we have Jackalov up here too. He's taking aggro. Teleport comes in. That might be a mistake. They do disengage the play right now, though, and choose not to go for the dive. They go straight onto Setup instead. Oh, it wasn't the Ord. It was the Corki. Hostile takeover. That teleport sucked. Tower's going to fall. Top esports will take all 5 plates. There is no cross-map for TT. They chose to bring the Corki to that lane. Bring him away from the lane bot side. So Cream even gets time down there. Look at this. Look at the minimap. Push up towards the top side. The Corki teleports up towards there and leaves Yone alone to push the side because he doesn't have that teleport anymore. Big mistake by TT's mid laner there. Satab, a player which we've sadly often seen make some big fumbles for this organization, for this roster. We'll see this again. Hoya stuck under the turret, but doesn't have the ult. If you had ult, you can play this. You can't when he doesn't. Teleporting in, Corki could have gone towards bot side, goes towards top lane instead. Cream gets a free wave bot side, an incredible hostile takeover. Renekton takes all of the aggro with the Dominus, because of course he can, one of the best tower diving champions in the game. All that's happening, you're losing waves on bot side. Cream gets a lone time on tower, gets a plate, I think. Maybe even 2. Can't see from the... I think it's on 3 right now. Oh, that's a mistake, isn't it? There's a mistake. Cream. Let's be a little bit careful there now. You do have... The Yone changes have come through. If you're CC'd and you press E, you do take your CC back to the other side of your E. You don't just immediately cleanse it, which is so stupid, by the way. Is there any support that is strong enough with Kalista that allows it to play with other laners jungle? Or just Kalista top at best? In terms of like Kalista being played in other roles, I haven't seen that for a while. Play with other laners jungle. I mean, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that question. .369 is so fed, man. But how do you play the game as the Ornn now? The cull has been cashed in for Renekton. This is why it is dangerous to pick tanks into a Renekton, and why Renekton is still very, very prized in the LPL. That's a Dominus. Setup had full vision of this, by the way. Buddy, you had full vision of this. Blows the flash. After walking up to the Renekton, you saw on vision. And now the funny thing is, 369 might actually think there's no ward there, because why would you walk up to him at that point? Setab. What's going on, buddy? What's going on? The first game, no, poor on the Talir in moments, but this game here, the teleport, and then that play around walking up to Renekton, who's 2,000 gold ahead. Black Cleaver completed, level 11. What's the play there? 6 goes to top esports now, and this is where we see one of the most obnoxious combos, well, champions in the game. Yone can E towards the tower, run past you, hit the tower club a couple of times, and press E to just fly back out. Swan. Oh, yeah. No, we did at some points see the Kalista top because she can use the extended lane. She really needs the extended lane. We did also see lethality mid lane Kalista for a little while, but not really the case anymore. They've changed her away from being as powerful in that. What was I saying about Renekton into tanks? The problem with Renekton into tanks is that... Oh, sorry. The problem with picking tanks into Renekton is that because Renekton gets so much early control over you. Oh, hang on a second setup, buddy. You gotta be so careful there. And the fact that Renekton goes Conqueror, has a lot of sustain. Jekyll still has plans, by the way. Captain Jack's out of that, so no play to be made. Often what happens is Renekton gets to control the wave, and there's a technique you can use as the Renekton where you clear a wave, you stack it up, walk past the tank. The tank can't stop you from hitting the tower. Use Demolish on it. You take plates for free. You go towards the Black Cleaver. The only thing which the tank can hope for is that you survive through to 5v5 teamfights where you outvalue the Renekton. But whenever you get there, a good enough Renekton player takes your turret for free because you can never kill the Renekton. He gets to hit the tower for free. And you can never even 1v2 because if you have a tank top laner, a lot of the time you don't have the damage to kill a Renekton, even in the 1v2. He gets the double Q heal on you. He just kind of walks in his merry way. I think 369, Bin, Breathe, Arla, probably our best Renektons in the region. Flandre used to be, but... used to be up there too. I don't think necessarily nowadays, but LPL's very good at kind of taking these blind Renekton matchups into tanks and saying, look, you are not going to get away with a free early game. You are going to lose so much gold. You never get towards those team fights. The map opens up. You, also particularly with the second bit of a problem there. He's alright. I guess he's got 4 mil. Not as bad as I thought. 6 grubs, 2 dragons, a kill up, 5k up. Yeah. TT opted into scaling. And, oh, is he going to steal this? Oh, he does with a W. Oh, Baytron. Sorry, buddy. 1,000 gold down in the jungle matchup too, by the way. It's not really been about the Nidalee this game, but Knavi ahead. A whole bunch of jungle camps. Is that why pros play Ambassador into Renekton? Actually, a lot of the time, if you see the Renekton ban... Renekton is one of the better picks into the Ambassador, actually. In LCK and LPL, the Renekton destroys the Ambassador hard enough that she doesn't get control of the lane. Yeah, the champion which you... Yeah, I mean, Ambassador's okay playing into... It is okay playing into the Renekton, but that's playing up for duos, where, like, you call your jungle top lane and you just try and kill the Renekton, or scale into team fights, but you're better at, like, like, your 1-2 item is still very strong, right, as Ambassadors. You can play team fights, even if you lose the early game. Yeah, Renekton in pro play is very good because he gives you unparalleled early control in top lane. Chris, great handshake out there. Stops the shield of Red Devo coming in. Dodges the Q. Chris Renata, clean. Herald on the table. Dragon in 3 minutes, not really anyone's concern right now. 369, full rage. Level 11. This is the most powerful Renekton will be. Has flash for the fight too. Whenever Renekton has flash, you are not very happy as the enemy team. Renekton very good around playing Herald and Grubs. Because you can walk up to the objective, get them to auto-attack the objective to stack up rage, and then use those empowered abilities, which are so powerful in the early game. They're about double the power of a regular ability, right? And you can't burst him out because he has the Dominus. Not at this point in the game. You can later on, but not until you get towards, like, you know, 3 items. And 369, yeah, he wants to use that power. He wants to use that power. The Ornn comes in. He doesn't get to pop the Dominus. Has the bailout. And 369 goes too far. You're strong, mate, but you're not 1v4 alone strong. 369 had all the gold in the world. What was the play there? But Cream walks forward and sets up, tries to get another play back. As well onto Feather. Can't finish off him. 1 for 1, but 369, for all we were talking about, Renekton so strong in the early game. You can't do everything. You're not Superman. Hoya eats a spear. Might have to run away now. And he's going to have to run back towards his turret. Gets the ult forwards. 1xn lucky to get out alive. Jackulov running forwards again. This is style points. Double kill for Jackulov. Top esports. They don't get the Herald rather, but they will get damn near everything else. What was Setup thinking there? I don't know. Setup to me has really looked uncomfortable today. He's looked out of sorts. I know that Setup can have some off games, but oh my god, another recall stuff. Are you kidding me? Setup has looked very poor today. Very poor today. Renekton went in and ate all of their CC and CD, so I call that W. The thing is, he didn't need to die there. If he just pops just pop your Dominus. Just use your ult. If you use your... if he gets an empowered W, if he gets his ult, he does probably live through that. Like, you can do some stupid stuff. He have flash, you know? He has flash, he has ult. Just if you want to go full send it, use your flash and ult, you know, at least. I mean, sure, does he get a lot of the cooldowns, but not the most valuable use of his time there. I don't know what Setup's been doing this game, man. The teleport, the face check into Renekton earlier, this play. Setup's having a bad day at the office, and now you're looking at a 3-kill not Tristana, Kalista 2k up. 1xn is not going to get to his 2-item power spike and make a difference this game, I don't think. I think by the time that happens, the game's pretty much over. Chris called out. There's a Kalista ult. It's not going to lead to that much. Wait, 369 died again? Did I just miss that? What the Sigma? Dragon. Being started by TT. Renekton coming back to the plate. Oh, during the replay, I missed that. What? Okay, here comes the Ornn. Remember, there's no Renata ult this time. The Renata throws the ult back, though, and Setup is getting jumped on by Cream, rather. And Hoya is left out to dry. The damage just simply isn't there from TT. And Top Esports find an angle. TT, too quick to go towards the Dragon. Couldn't find a clean pick onto Crisp, even with the Kalista ult down. This series has been very demoralizing for TT. They've taken one win against FPX, and every other series they have been bodied. It has not been close. They've not had games versus top teams like they did against BLG in Split 1, which made them look like they could potentially be an underdog, upset team. They've just looked like they've been outclassed. And remember, Thundertalk picked Red Side this game for the draft. What's that got on them? Last pick Ezreal's not done much to flex that Quark into mid lane. So Renekton walked up towards Setup. This was in the replay. And gets Leonid. Oh, and he fails the kill. Doesn't get the last Q. Well, that's how he died, I guess. The story of the life and death of 1369. I don't know what's happening with TT, but it's sad to see this. From Split 1, where this team looked exciting, they had an identity, to whatever the hell's happening now. This fall off, I mean, I say a fall off, it's not like they're at the top, but it is a fall off, right? From mid to upper end to mid to lower end. As it's so sad to see. Ruinous Atacant up and available. Beichuan does have no flash, in fact. That's very confusing. 369 going in again. Does have Dominus this time. Where is his Q? Using the power W instead. And the Renata over the top. This time he actually lives. Turns out Renekton is pretty tanky if you use everything. It is a two-man Yodel onto both carries. Cream completely obliterating TT. Great Yonale. Great Renata roll. It is a donut team fight for top esports as Krispy Kreme take Thunder Talk apart. Stack Darkseal for Kadavi as well. 3,000 gold in the individual. In a turret. This series could have been an email. This series could have been an email. TT have not really turned up to play. Game 1, the draft was hard and their play was not adequate. This game, choose red side. Draft needed to survive, and they have absolutely not. 369 playing in the 2v2 on bot side now. Cream is also hit. Atacant being taken down. Cream has more than enough damage to go towards that. Beitron goes forward to use the passive. Look, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, TT. You can bring it on to this play, and it doesn't make a difference. You can bring one X to this play, it doesn't make a difference. You look after yourself now, okay? Medjai's for Kanavi. Hell yeah. Book Gaming. Didn't get to buy one in the last game. That was left up to Cream and 369. Now he gets a chance to. Oh, God. He's stacked up his Q3. 1xN has flash. He just thinks a little earlier. Can't get over the wall. It's the fat part of it. You see how scared everyone has to be of Cream. Cream has been very strong today. But then again, he's been given all the openings in the world to do so. At least saying anyone's Legend Weibo is going to happen soon. Yeah, it's a short day. Yeah, it's a short day for that. Of course, I know that the schedule normally says, oh, start at 1 o'clock. It happens a little bit later than that most of the time, folks. Alright, great ult from Cream. Great ult. Onto both carries who are stacked up. Insane. Now we're going to fight when we come back to live. 1xN. Nothing he can do in this game. Has felt like he's just looked at his team falling apart. He's ended up joining them with very little to say about it. Cream is going so deep and has all the cooldowns to do so. Hoya, it's looking like a little bit of a fake there. Call her the forgery god for Hoya. Does absolutely nothing. Top esports at 24 minutes. Break the base. They have a Herald. They have 6 scrubs. They have a Ruinous Atacant to help even that. This game is over before 25 minutes. 6 scrubs turned into 7.25 off the Ruinous Atacant and top esports. This series could have been an email. We hope it finds you well, Thunder Talk. Xiaohu going towards Azir. One of the better Azir players in the LPL over the history of time. Has it been recently on form for him? Perhaps not. Bad into the Talia 2, by the way. Self-counter-picking. The win rate in Tier 1 games of Talia versus Azir is about 80%, folks. I think it's 83% as of yesterday. Maybe even dropped a little bit for the Azir. Might even be more than that. I think, as it stands... For those of you that are uninitiated on the Circle of Suck meme, it is effectively when every team loses to another team in the cycle to make a perfect circle of this team's better than this team, better than this team, better than this team. So currently we have AL, who beat BLG, who beat IG, who beat Top Esports, who beat anyone's Legend. So we do have that for our top teams. And then we have JDG, who just beat BLG. So they're also... But they haven't played enough games against the other ones to join the circuit completely in that. So the top of the table is quite confusing, really. Of course, anyone's Legend in that conversation. Very much in that conversation. They've looked fantastic this year in the LPL. Yeah, JDG will have to face these other top teams and see if they can keep up a good win rate. Walking in very early on. Oh, Hong, no, my dude! Hong has looked very suspect here at the LPL at points, and that is a very bad start. What the hell was that, Hong? My dude! I don't know, man. Oh, God. To make sure my door is closed properly, because I do not want to be freaking out the neighbors with what the hell am I thinking about this game. Oh, Nautilus Gaming. There was a real reprobate on League of Legends Reddit on one of the post-match threads. It was, you know, there are just those occasional assholes on Reddit which just love to just reply to you and start fights because that's how they gain value. There's this one person saying like, huh, LPL supports are actually very good, and they're actually so much better. You know, like the LCK supports aren't that much better. Hung's still good. It's not like these other LCK supports who impact the game more than them. Well, I mean, Hung does impact the game. I wouldn't say it's positively. Tarzan now going into the enemy side of the jungle. Good in early levels versus the Sejuani. Tien spots Tarzan go by though. No flash on Hung. Can't really do that much about it. Ah, now Tarzan spots the blue buff up and knows Tien's not there, and that means he can walk into enemy jungle a little bit further. He does have Brawn, potentially able to roam to if he wants. Most importantly, Tarzan just slowing down Tien. Smite available for both of these guys now, and it resets. That's a problem. Tien does get his Q short range. Tarzan not putting any auto attacks down. Q lands over the wall. Flandre doing okay in the individual level, but Breed's actually going into melee range. Oh, Breed's individual laning is absolutely sublime. Flandre loses the 1v1 with the first pick Jace. We did say that Breed is a great individual laner, and we think that he can outdo Flandre even on his current form. We see it just there. Tarzan uses that smite to secure the camp. Gets something away from that Sejuani. And also, this kind of jousting in the bot side allows his bot lane to remain safe, because their bot lane knows that Tien is not coming to their lane. However, Tarzan needs to be careful. If you do have that... Oh, okay, smite away. If you do have that Nautilus come into the bot jungle and you get hooked up, things get a bit more rough, don't they? Even without that flash. Wolf is a game-winning objective. I mean, getting ahead in the jungle matchup, forcing Tien to be behind and saving your bot lane from the 2v2 of the... You know, and just allowing them to get through the early game is very important. Tien is on vision, so they know this is happening. Tarzan has flash. What can he do here? What's the plan? All this is doing, what Tarzan is doing, is just playing bodyguard for bot lane. Tien is not allowed into bot side. This Jinx will get through the early game, and they will punish this Nautilus. That's the plan. Tarzan, he doesn't need to do his own goddamn camps. He is a level 3 Poppy. He is full build for all intents and purposes. Tien does get the passive onto him. Will trade back because the wall stun didn't come through. Hung doesn't have flash, but Cal's up here anyway, roaming early. And has that W as well. And again, the job is just bodyguard for this bot side. Tarzan, very strategic in the way that he approaches this. Tien, of course, one of our most strategic junglers too. Both of them. Some of our best junglers here in the LPL, regionally at least, especially within regular season. Top side, good CS lead for Flandre over Breathe. But Breathe did get that 1v1, so it's even in gold. XP is somewhat similar too. You know, funnily enough, it was Tarzan and Weiwei in 2023, in which if you watched the LPL broadcast back then, you'd know this too. Turns out you miss stuff when you don't watch the LPL broadcast. You instead watch something else, and you don't listen to the actual casters saying stuff which is high value. Full build Poppy is a term which I invented in 2023. When Poppy hits level 3, has a red buff, and she's full build. She needs nothing else in the game. Did you hear that? Anywhere else? Huh? Huh? No, I said it enough on the broadcast, so you would have got it by now. I'm going to be defending my own goddamn broadcast career for the rest of my life, aren't I? Anyway, Tarzan showing it up well, though. Where you just hit level 3, and you just become a gremlin. You just walk into the enemy jungle. It's completely fine to do so. Wave being held by Kyle. This is a happy Jinx. Jinx just needs to get towards, you know, that 1-2 Ivy spike, and it's, nasty as heck. I thought Tien had a major fall-off. Is he actually okay now? No, Tien's been fine. Regionally, he's been fantastic. Last year, he was great. Again, regionally, he was great. Summer, he was the MVP. And in Split 1, he was fine too. Still a top, you know, 3-4 jungler within the league. I think you have Tien, Tarzan, Kanavi. I think, oh, Shanks might get shuffled in. Does someone flash that out of the hook? Xiaohu doesn't even pull the ult. Didn't even think that Poppy had an even earlier full build than Aurelia. Well, you've learned it now, wouldn't you? And you could have learned it in 2023 if you watched the LPL English broadcast, which was a good broadcast, and I'm sad it's gone. Tarzan, gonna go, take that first grub. Has Smite now available for the second one. Even if he just gets 2 out of the 3, I think that's good enough. Smites away that one, and then we'll let Weibo take the last. 2 for 1. Getting okay in terms of the objective trade there. Hope. Probably not wanting to take turret shots for free there. Gets a plate. Jinx getting turret plates is a problem. You don't expect that. What's a champion that's full build at level 1? Blitzcrank? Blitzcrank level 1 full build. There you go. Oh, Light. Is he spotted there? Going up towards the honey fruit. I think Kyle spotted this. Doesn't manage to catch him on the rotation over there, though. Does manage to pick up the last of those honey fruit. Get something out of it. Braum level 1? Oh, yeah. Braum, Morgana, Blitzcrank. They're level 1. That's full build right there. Nautilus arguably amongst that crew as well, but turns out when you hook into the wall at level 1, it's not as good, is it, Hung? Taza, watch serve towards the end. Too far away from the wall to get the wall stun. Oh, but not there. So close. Yeah, against Poppy, you have to think about how close you are to walls. Quite a lot. Oh, Breathe going forward to the electrocute trade. And goes into melee range again. Has the ults. Cooldowns in the early game too, though. Too long to go towards a solo kill. Like, gets the electrocute and that's it. Tiana has to leave the blue buff, knowing that Tarzan again is full build Poppy. For this point in the game, Poppy is Exodia. You see, I am actually old enough to know what that means. I say that, Jack Spectra, he should know what that means. But he never watched the show. In the LEC, he was talking about Exodia and didn't exactly get the reference, did he? Kyle gets hooked in. He still has shield, still has the W. Don't think there's much you can do here. Gets the Braum passive and the wall stun on top of it. Remember, there is a Jinx, Salt, and Hope gets the reset. Xiaohu is here and does have Shuffle, but needs to be afraid of the minefield, which is why he doesn't go into it. Of course, the Poppy W2 would have stopped him from making a Shuffle. Makes it much harder for Azir to play out these fights. Anyone's Legend really mastering this early game. Besides that solo kill in first in top lane, early game's going well for them. 1,000 gold up now in the AD carry role. Hope, yes, Kai'Sa was denied from him, his best champion at the current moment. But Jinx getting ahead of the game like this? Yeah, you'll take that. Yuntal at under 9 minutes. What the hell? Of course, you have to spend a little bit of time auto-attacking minions to get your crit chance actually up with that item. It doesn't give you base crit chance. You have to, auto-attack to get it, but... Plates for a Jinx, an early kill for a Jinx. I completely agree, Pino. I completely agree. Flandre. Ooh, might be in a bit of trouble here. There was ult used top lane before. Breathe. Does have flash. Chen does have... No, well, he doesn't have ultimate. Flandre needs to flash to survive this. And he's dead anyway. Oh, Flandre. We were just building up as the best top laner in the LPL. But individual laning has not been where Flandre has found his value. It's been outside of that. This is why I thought Breathe might be able to take it to him. And indeed, he's done that. Anyone's Legends top laner. Really struggling. Breathe, really happy with how that's going. He's now ahead of that matchup a little bit, which you don't expect from that Ambassador. Dragon being taken from Anyone's Legend now. Besides that top lane, it has all been Anyone's Legend. Kill for Tiana, of course, helps him too with the amount he's lost. That's actually kind of important. There's been a lot of effort put in by Tarzan to try and shut down Tien and curtail his impact on the map. Now Tian has the kill, slightly ahead in that matchup now. In terms of gold. And it will reach the point where, of course, the Sejuani is a little bit more used than the Poppy and individual tank in the engaging play. Of course, the Poppy ultimate adds an extra X factor into this too. But Tian, feeling pretty okay about things after that kill. Oh, Breathe has that Eclipse and using that shield well. Wow. Good damage, trading into the shield. Really is two items where the Ambassador comes apart. Breathe is one of the Ambassadors which actually will take over a game. This guy is absolutely insane on this. You know, compare that to, say, I think one of the reasons Bin is not the best top laner in the LPL. He is clearly not the best top laner in the LPL right now. It's because his Ambassador is bad. Breathe's Ambassador is very, very good. And with such a priority pick, taking it into all-comer matchups, it does make a huge difference. Light completes his Yuntal 2 minutes later than Hope. He's 1,000 gold ahead. Jesus, man. That's nasty. Tarzan going to get all of these grubs on top side, despite the top lane advantage for Breathe. Weber not looking towards a fight there. Hope getting the get excited from the grub kill. I didn't even know you got that. I guess it's only from the first grub that you get participating in the set. Flash forwards. Flash backwards, rather. Well, flash from Hung, but then the flash backwards from Shanks. Keeps him safe. That was a messy cast. Blech. Breathe. Alone on top side now. Q misses. Kyle on the run. Tarzan on the run. Yeah, and it doesn't feel so good playing a dash champion
into the Poppy now. And Hope is very strong, but he's CC'd on the turret. The tower hits him and Breathe pins him in place. Breathe Zambessa is far too clean. Has anyone's Legends gone too far now? There's a sweep. Light is coming to the plate and Tarzan goes down. But make no mistake, it is Breathe which outplays under the top lane turret to bring Weibo to a 6-kill margin. Breathe Zambessa. Oh my god, what a player of the champion. Teleports towards the bot side now to pick up even more farm. Oh, Breathe that Zambessa. Oh, I could watch this all day. Get rid of Fearless. I want to see this man on Zambessa more. What a beautiful play. No, he dashes out first, gets the Repudiate, gets the Eclipse, activates aggro onto Tarzan because he gets to with the W, and then Tien comes around the corner, and Besserol comes through. Tien and Breathe outplay under the turret. That is sublime. And then anyone's Legend have gone too far. Tien's in the play. Breathe has done way more damage. You don't have a resetting Jinx because they've died. And Weibo get away with an awesome play. So much quicker on the play. Weibo waiting for that. Hang on, Tarzan, he's on the wrong side of the map. Could potentially get the wall stun. Actually, no, it's Tien that was caught out there. My bad. Did have the flash. Gets the permafrost though. Managed to get over without the W keeping him in place. And again, Weibo are a team that wants to show they are still a top-tier outfit. They had some good games versus BLG. They took a game off of them in the placement stage. But Weibo went out in first round of playoffs, last split, against BLG in that lower bracket. It was a harsh draw. BLG definitely had a lot of strength in them in that last split, despite going out to top esports. They had their flaws, but you don't disrespect a world finalist like that, right? But Weibo in this Nirvana stage, 1 and 2, you know, a win versus a lower placed team, a loss versus Team FPX of all teams, they haven't given us that much confidence. Weibo, consistently inconsistent. Will show up games against the top sometimes, lose against all comers. It's been an odd conversation because we were talking about this a little bit earlier. For those of you that missed it or coming in just now, we have the circle of suck in the top of the table, where all of our top teams have lost to one of the others. So AL beat BLG, but BLG beat IG, but IG beat Top Esports, but Top Esports beat anyone's Legend. So who's actually our best team? And JDG are in the mix as well, but they haven't played enough games to for us to know, really. Weibo, similar. They haven't played all the games versus the top teams, but it felt like Weibo weren't even in the conversation. Games like this, starts like this, maybe we revise things. It's only 14 minutes in. It's only 14 minutes in, but that's the underpinning for this game. Weibo, for me, I don't even care if they necessarily win this series. I need them to look good, though, because I want Weibo to look good. Breathe, Tien, Xiaohu, Light, Hung. Well, okay, maybe Hung not on that list as much. All of these are players which I think can be top tier within the LPL. Again, maybe not Hung. We saw that hooker level in, didn't we? Dragon up and available. Anyone's Legend, though, finalists. 3-1. Only team to, well, only lost to Top Esports, beaten BLG, looking to contest this Dragon. That is why this series matters. It matters for the vibes, it matters for the eye test, it matters for that benchmarking. Poppy ult comes through, but it doesn't get anything. Dragon's still on the table. Talir ult used. Looks like it's going to come down to a smite fight. Xiaohu, does he feel like he can go for a shuffle? Don't really think so, it's hard to do so. Hook comes through, the W's used, and so it has the E. Kai'Sa kills it. And it's suddenly the Jinx with the reset to the North goes down, and Xiaohu does find the shuffle, but is it enough? They get themselves the Talir, but the Jinx is still up and alive. I think Hope has just reset his way through. They get everyone but the Jinx, and it is an arcane moment again. Hope with a triple kill. 4-1 and 2, the eggs in the carry basket. Hope delivers anyone's Legend the team fight. The Dragon goes to Weibo, even though the shuffle was sublime. You can take your Jason and Bessa. Jinx is the main character in this animated series. What the hell happened here? So, I think actually the hook from Nautilus baiting out the Poppy W is fine, because it opens up more angles for Kai'Sa and for Azir to play the fight. We see that Kai'Sa is actually the person which takes the Dragon itself. I guess they comboed up with a passive somehow. No, it's just an auto attack. Goes down to 115 HP. What happens to Light here? Shuffle in. Great overall combo. We don't even get to see that. The Herald's play happening. Potentially have a fight afterwards. We don't even get to see the rest of that fight. Damn, that would have been nice to see. Tien over the wall. Doesn't have ultimate. Anyone's Legend. Ahead in gold again. 2-item Jinx. 2.5k up. Light. Light's in a tough situation, folks. You tell me. Is it Light's fault that he's 2,000 gold behind? Or is it the fact that his support hooked into a wall at level 1, and then the enemy jungler camped the shit out of his bot lane to the point where he could never see the light of day? Herald coming through, Wallstone coming through from Tarzan as well, Reset coming through from the tower, and potentially from the Nautilus as well. Oh, Hong's down again, and Breathe this time can't make an impact, has to flash his way out of the play. Oh, this is a problem. Weibo had a bright moment. Xiaohu's on vision on the side, but that one dragon fight might have just spelled the difference. They couldn't kill Hope in that last play, and that might be the end of them. Oh, this is why. Going back to the conversation we had before that dragon, but before this series even started, this is a series where I need Weibo to look good to consider them a top team. That play on the top lane turret, awesome. Really well played. Breathe individually, stunning in that play, and is still ahead of the matchup. But that dragon fight, not able to close down the bot side. The way that everything happened around bot side to allow Hope this incredible lead, that makes you question it again. It's always something in one hand, something in the other with Weibo. Consistently inconsistent. Breathe flashes out of that brawl mat, lucky to get out alive. But they lose the turret, they lose a kill. Hung having an awful game again. He is the anchor on Weibo this game. Oh, Tien looking to see if he can get onto Hope. He doesn't have flash. Chompers will help. There's still a flash ult from Tien. Q's long cooldown. He'll get the slow onto Hope, but that's not enough. Needs to get the passive for Light to shine through. And they'll get it now. Tries to get that escape, but not allowed. Hope will go down, and Light picks up that gold. That's important. That's a shutdown. He was 2.5k gold behind now. So what's the score at now? Shanks takes the top lane turret. 2.1k, so it has been slimmed a little bit. Oh, it feels like it's too late though, doesn't it? Tarzan, star of the show in terms of the strategy of this game, I think. Do you think Hope would be this far ahead if Tarzan hadn't hit level 3 and gone and been a little gremlin in the enemy jungle? I don't think so myself. Yes, it's helped by the fact that Hung had an awful early game. I can't believe that one goddamn Reddit commentator was trying to gaslight me into thinking that Hung was a good support man. Ugh. Tien flashes forward, doesn't get that ult, but still, it's enough. The slow's enough. How is he there? He's chased off a mid lane. I think he knows he's under threat of being dove. He didn't have flash, had barrier. But yeah, he was just walking up to clear a mid wave and had to back off that way as soon as Tien showed his face. And you know, I see you saying bot gap in chat, Yugi, but for me it's jungle gap, which led to the bot gap. Yes, I think there's a support diff as well. Cal clearly having a good game, but Hung on the other side having an awful one. Tarzan S tier, playing to win condition, amazing. Yes, Tarzan and Tarbe. The coach jungle combination. The brains behind the brawn of anyone's legend have been so crucial to how this team have become a team I want to watch in the LPL. 2,500 gold lead. Most of that in the AD carry role, of course. Is this game going to be Hope versus Breathe? Is it going to be Xiaohu looking for that miracle shuffle, even against such a difficult composition to do so? You have to stop Hope somehow. That's the play. That's the hope from Weibo. That maybe Hung will die at the start of the fight, but he'll buy a Poppy W and a Talia E. I think Anyone's Legend needs to be very careful about how they use the Unraveled Earth and the Steadfast Presence to stop dashes. Because if they're down, trying to kill a Nautilus, maybe that means the sweep can come through onto the Jinx. Maybe that changes things. Xiaohu pretty invisible besides that one shuffle, but what can you expect? I would say him being ahead in gold, 2 items, versus a Poppy and a Talia is exactly more than you would expect it. It's more than you'd expect him to do. You say he's invisible besides that one shuffle. The fact that he's not dying, the fact that he's not inting in these team fights, the fact that he gets that one shuffle, that to me is a massive overperformance on the Azir. This is why I didn't like the Azir last pick, because it's so hard to make an impact in this game. Dragon's going to go to the side of Anyone's Legend. But much like we saw, say, for instance, from the misfortune earlier from TT from 1xN, I don't think it's a case of the player being invisible. I think it's the champion making the player invisible instead. Wait, but what's the play? What is the plan? Breathe at 2 items, has teleport. No objectives up right now. Just farming up. You are very far behind as this Kai'Sa. And that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. Mikhail's first item from Kyle, by the way. Not going towards a locket. Not going towards more traditional melee support items. We do see this occasionally. Kyle is a lover of Mikhail's first item supports, by the way. Him and Wink. Wink was the guy that... it was Wink the guy that was doing it. Aphelios next game for Light. Look, I love Light on the Aphelios. Very, very good at that champion. Infinity Edge for Light. Mikhail. Oh my god, it's the Mikhail's Crucible. That's great. Oh, it's not the Crucible. Mikhail's Blessing. I love how two different people in two different chats made the same joke, by the way. We have one brain cell between all of our chats, folks. Whether it's Onivia or here. Objects is a little bit slow to spawn. Weibo, just trying to get as much... They've got to be safe. Got to be safe, of course. Hope's just farming up so well. Rapid fire cannon now means he can stand even further back from the play if he wants to. And all he has to do is wait for that first misstep in a fight and get the reset. These Jinx resets have been terrifying for Weibo. Terrifying. Of course, they can stack now as well. You get more kills, you get more from it. Slow hanging fruit. I swear to God. Afghan started Ruinous Variety. There is a ward here, though. Xiaohu. I believe he actually might have putting that one down earlier. No, it must have been Kyle actually. Hung, rather. Going down. Xiaohu could go on the flank. Can he find a flank around the anti-dive? The E used the pop ult, misses. That's important. Hope is getting flanked onto. He has a flash, but is that going to be enough? It's onto the traps. Hope is alive, though, and he gets the reset. Breed goes onto the traps, and Hope takes him down. There was a steal, though. Weibo did take the Atakan at the cost of one. They'll put up the Azir turret. The flowers still go to Anyone's Legend. It's a bit of a split. I think Weibo have just committed late daylight robbery. Biggest thing in that fight, though. Biggest thing. We no longer have the Jinx Flash. The Jinx Flash is gone. That is so important. That is so important. Maybe that's something you can play around the next time. Breed still has that flash. Of course, died in that play after going onto the traps. Maybe Weibo could have gotten a little closer before the teleport was pulled. Did they have vision of the teleport? What happened here? I guess they did. Checking over the wall like that. Nice. Awesome traps from Hope. Flashes out of the Ambassador ult. Brawl Maul after Flandre goes over. Yep, they do lose the plants, but you do get a burst from killing the Atakan itself, which does help. Don't get all of them, of course. But if you look at the overall flower count at the top of your screen, look at the overall flower count. 27, 34. Not the biggest difference. You do get some from killing the Atakan, remember, and then the Grove is the rest of them. Kal-El no or Kyle no? What is right? Kal-El no! Enough champagne to fill the Nile. It makes me laugh. Tien does have ult. Tarzan not had the best ults himself so far, worth noting. Has Sunder Sky, has Deadman's Plate. Does not want to be walking up towards a Azir who's almost got a 1,000 gold lead himself. That's worth noting. You know, the Jinx is the main character of this. Xiao, if he actually gets to sit and fight, might surprise us yet. Yeah, a little bit quiet. However, I'm not going to completely put that on Xiao, who's a hard draft for him to play. He's played harder drafts before. Now he's an MSI champion multiple times, 3 times over. In both mid and top lane. One of the greatest players the LPL's ever known. Maybe not someone you talk about in that kind of tones in the recent years. He's still a world finalist in 2023. Made it to world's semi-finals in 24. Definitely still has something left to those old bones. One of the more veteran players in the league. Of course, Maker the other day, first player in the LPL to hit 1,000 games in the LPL. Faker the same over in the LCK, 1,000 there. Xiaohu, wonder when he's going to hit those margins. They're giving Dragon, I guess they are. Want to set up towards that Baron. Dragon gone. 2 dragons over to Weibo on the Hextech Dragon. You don't have a teleport from Breed this time. Xiaohu could have teleported onto that one ward. Now they have to fight a single directional team fight. Shanks spotted. Hung coming over the wall. Has a flash. Does he want to get in with an ultimate? Sees this, and he goes for the Hexgate. Hope still has no flash. They must kill the Jinx, and they fail to do so. Ambessa loses the honorable duel. Where have we seen that one in animated fashion before? And Xiaohu gets stunned, flashes back out, but you have to deal with the Jinx. You must deal with the Jinx, and the Azir can't. Hung can't. It is Demolition Derby. Hope walks away again with murder in his eyes. Tien will go down, and anyone's legend with a 5,000 damage team fight from their AD carry will take the ruinous, well, not the ruinous Atacama, but will take the grubs and march towards the Nexus. Hope will get resetting, and I think Weibo, by taking that dragon and foregoing the setup of the Baron, just signed their own death warrant. Anyone's legend came off of a stinging loss to top Esports and then came back, beat BLG. Take the first game against Weibo, who are looking for some redemption themselves after a recent poor run of results. You can play a bit more safely. You can check brushes with with Daisy and your brushes as well, your brush maker. Kyle will go towards the Rel. He needs the shield break now into the Ivern, and that will be a bonus for them. But I think Weibo have just crushed this draft with the last 2 picks. Weibo so much better than the first game. And will we have Weibo consistently inconsistent on our screens again, where they do get blown out in that first game? They don't know what to do with their draft in their early game, and instead come back in another game and absolutely sweep. I want to see God himself. Oh, it's very loud, Jesus. Oh, God. A lot of, yeah, damn. Right. Some volume from the crowd. Le crowd. That Ivern can be so important, man. Shinzo hates playing against that Ivern after a certain point. The first clear from Tien needs to be on point, though. AL do not have a good level 1 team composition. Akali bad at the level 1. Rel's okay, but the Akali it's not a good level 1 composition up against what Weibo has. You know, if you walk up in towards Ivern with a Yone, Misfortune having to make it rain or the double up, well, anything, man. Yeah, it can be very, very powerful. And of course, Flash Pulverize makes things dangerous. Drops down a ward in the river, but it's not really going to spot what Tien's going to do. There's a ward on the Raptors, so Tien does have some information of where Tarzan is not starting. Level 1, being won over by Hope and Kyle for now. Of course, the Misfortune was locked in for a bit of lane support. The mount up from Kyle available makes it much harder to. You can't pulverize out of the crash down, which is why you go for the mount up rather. So you crash down, retain the shield, and then you mount up to have the undeniable engage, even though it's only onto one person. Kyle will be looking to do that flip back over the shoulder when possible. If anything else, if nothing else, AL has the better logo. It used to be known as an awesome logo. Ooh, so close. Missed out on the stun as well. Kyle, close run thing. Close run thing. Of course, Kyle. The support we are watching in the LPL right now. This guy is the best support in our region. And worthy of a hell of a lot of respect. Zhang's doing okay in the first few levels. Now, Xiaohu's Yone, been up and down. Some people will meme it. He's had a couple of awesome games on this pick, though, even with all of the criticism. He said he learned from Chovy and talked about how, actually, you don't want to be the primary engage. You want someone else to be the primary engage more often than not, and then you find a second angle as they scatter, and then you really trap them into the play. Ooh, the double up didn't catch him. Ah, so the recall comes through. Tier back, completed by Hope. The trades again from Shanks. Of course, Manaless versus Manaless champions. Ooh, missed that Q3. Probably going to be losing, not have the best back in this first stage of the game. Looking to save his W for the cannon minion, which he gets there. Dark Seal first back from Tien. Of course, the first clear of the game for... hang on a second. Helping push out mid lane with that shield a little bit. The brush can give you the on-hit damage as well for the Ivern. Your teammates who stand in a bush near Ivern get extra damage on hit on through auto attacks. Scuttle crab, mark put on it. Ooh. Pings towards the bot side. I guess just checking out the bot side. Can drop a ward down, and indeed does. Tarzan went towards the top side. Recalls go down the bot side. Spotted. Has the red buff. Uses the shield. Waiting for the mark to come through. About halfway done right now. Big mid lane pressure though from Shanks. Makes this a little bit weird. Hung goes forwards. Needs to be a bit careful here actually. Gonna get jumped onto. Light and Hope also having a 1v1. They both have barrier. Is that going to lead to anything particularly nice? Oh, Hung. Caught way too far out. First blood, and this is now a problem. Kyle forces the play on the bot side after Hung overstep. Why are these early games determined so much? Oh, can he flash forward the last order? No, he can't. These early games determined by mistakes from Hung. Light, thrown under the bus again. Get this AD carry a real support. What can he do? He just watched his support walk up under river. Get nothing done. Is there going to be an execute? No, it will be a kill at least. So at least it's 1-for-1. But Hung, a big misstep. I think Tien was already a little bit greedy going towards that bot side scuttle crab, knowing that his mid lane was losing so heavily. But look, there was just a bit of a shake of the head there from Light. He does get the BF sword back. That's actually not the worst thing ever. The BF sword makes it more tolerable, I think. That makes it playable again. But how bad should that have been? What are you doing? Why am I watching a support player run it down live in my game? What has he done? I am speechless. I have never seen a support run it down live on my screen like that before. Whatever. I can't believe this. Cancels him out with a mount up. He was meant to just headbutt him away. What is he doing? Come back to life, takes another chunk. I don't have words. Fantastic mount up by Kyle, but what you do is you see the animation start, you press double in your attack move, and then it will instantly do it. It's actually not that hard to do. It comes through from Shanks. Xiaohu goes out with the face sealed. Does he have another E? He does, and it's going to get close. Flash forced by Xiaohu. Shanks really winning the matchup here. Even if he doesn't get interrupted, maybe he still dies to radar. He definitely in trouble either way, right? Kyle had flash, right? Can't he just flash, maybe, and run at him? I can't believe it, man. Surely there has to be a better option than Hung. What did you think was going to happen? What has Light done to deserve this support? And I just go back to this conversation a couple of days ago, where I had a couple of different Reddit commenters trying to convince me that Hung was good and that, LCK supports aren't that much better than players like Hung or whatever. Yeah, you comment that now. You comment that now. Oh god. Tien has level 6, going towards topside. Flandre, not achieved much in this topside matchup. The Aurora, counterpicked, leading the charge with Daisy. I don't know. Oh, I guess the knockup, and that's why they do it. Flandre looking to clear out the wave, using the Daisy to get the guaranteed knockup, get the Aurora ult for free, but now that's a bit of a problem. Kyle flashes forwards, and this support wanting to get a bit more blood on his hands. Got that solo kill under the bot turret. Forces the flash out at the end, flash to flash, you will take that. Aladdin's a huge red soul, you can't take them personally. I know that, but also, like, they're just rude and arrogant, and I want people to understand that. Because actually people do reply to them and shit too, but you know. Because people actually do take them seriously, and I'm like, no, I'm actually going... I don't want you spreading this misinformation on my goddamn teams. Xiaohu under turret does have ult. Shanks comes towards again. He misses, though, this time. Xiaohu, does he want to lock him under turret? No, not just yet. Has the Q3 set up and catches him. Then the ult gets another knockup. Tarzan, he doesn't have the flash now. Really well played from Xiaohu. Stacks the Q3 on the wave, goes back to the E. Double CC. Well played from Xiaohu under the turret. Oh, Q lands. The root caller getting good damage onto Hope. Doesn't have flash, does have barrier. Forced off for the wave, though. Xiaohu. Let's be a little bit careful here. Oh, he goes forwards. Back rather, Tien. On the bot side of the map again. It's a good lead for anyone's legend. However, if Weibo do get out of this rough early game, which has been rough, they're down across every role except Breathe. Good old Breathe. Good old Rock. They have a great composition. The Ivern shields on Yone, onto Rumble. In skirmishes are good, and in team fights you can give them over towards your Alistar or your carries, of course, to keep them alive against the enemy team trying to engage on them with someone like the Akali. Will say I do think this Akali is really scary. If you miss the... If you use your CC to engage, Shanks will find an angle and he can assassinate. Akali is very high damage right now in this kind of meta. I'm just like, yep. So when summoners are about to come off of cooldown, they kind of go, well, the flash will like go, it'll gray out and then it'll come back to the full color again. It's kind of a bug with the UI, I think. It doesn't look that great, but yeah. Wait, the mainstream, there is no mainstream, by the way, Rin. It is just a fan broadcast, the LPL English, by the way. But the LPL English, hang on a second, Tarzan's going in for a, that's a great combo from Hung. That might just about help, but now he's caught into the play. Kyle goes down, though. Alistar helping. This is stuck into the play. Tarzan goes into melee range. Shanks comes through. Hung has to flash out. Alistar bring out value there. Flandre is here. Want to really kill Daisy, I guess, and they do. So that's the ultimate down. Grubs are up. Not having Daisy, not having your bot lane ultimates, does that change things? Hung, of course, getting that level 6. So that's why they picked Ivans. They can try and shield Hung from him from dying. Yeah, maybe. Do you suppose Hung just doesn't know how to play engaged supports? No, he only plays Leona, Rakan, Nautilus. Like that's his stuff. These are the champions he plays. But no, just Rin, once again, like, so everyone who's covering LPL right now is a co-stream. There are, hang on a second, Shadow, who does have it. Not too much there. So anyone you see casting LPL right now is a fan broadcast, like this one. We're fans of the region, and we'll do it for the love of the game, but there is actually no main broadcast anymore. It's actually one of the big problems with the region. You know, if you're here watching this, or you're over at LPL English with their fan broadcast, you're helping us cover the region. That's important. But one of the biggest problems we have in the league is that actually no one's getting paid to do this anymore. It's a big problem. You know, watching these teams, which are top teams, seeing where the hell Weibo, multiple Worlds representatives are doing, what the hell's happening with this support player they've got instead of Chris. Anyone's Legend, a team which you might see internationally this year. I think you probably should see them internationally this year. Weibo, we're kind of waiting for them to prove that they can be a top tier team again, but I just don't know if they can do it with a player like Hung in support, playing like this, you know. Where did Chris go? He went to top esports. He went to top esports. That's why he was international at first stand. And you know, Chris has been more consistent than he's been in years, but he still has tinges of that old Weibo flipper. Is the LPL code streaming done on the old one? It was done on the old one from 2013 to 2014 when they had another fan broadcast. They don't use the LPL account. But Kelsey Moses set that up in like 2013 or so. Or 2014. Sometime around there. Xiao has Blade. First item for both AD carries as well. Triforce for Bloodthirster. Still, 1,000 gold lead for Anyone's Legend, but it's not exactly increased in a little while. 5 Gubs and a Dragon for Anyone's Legend. They'll definitely take that lead. Not contesting this. I think they should contest this Dragon. I think they want to use this gold lead and get towards some more Dragons. They're not cross-mapping right now. Akali doesn't have teleport, is in base. They'd be looking at us at a... Hang on a second. Light caught out a little bit. Kyle jumped on. That's the end of that. Tarzan does have ult. Can he cast it in time? There's a lot of CC. And a lot of damage comes back. The Yone ult's good and is into the bullet time. Kill onto Tarzan. He doesn't even push his ultimate button. Breathe into the backline. Flashes out immediately. And Anyone's Legend, a lazy approach to the Dragon. Lazy indeed. Weibo get the Dragon. Get a kill. Get out. Gold lead's now 500, not 1,000. Well, it's a root caller. Perma CC uses his E instead of his ultimate. Maybe thinks he's dead anyway, but I feel like you just have to cast your ult early there, don't you? I mean, if you've hit no one, you can punt them away from you because your mark isn't applied to anyone. I think it was a mistake from Tarzan. Had that one excellent game versus BLG, but then it was versus FPX. They lost that one game. And that was with Tarzan on the Shinzan. Not looking awesome, actually. Yet to see Shanks make a big impact as well, besides that early... Well, okay, his early laning phase was good, but he hasn't transferred that into anything more just yet. Breathe approach on the top side. Level 11 from Shanks has that tier 2 ultimate. Gets some good damage down. No flash on him. Hits the E, and it's a clean as you like. Shanks with a little bit of help from Kyle. Gets a kill. There's the impact we wanted to see. Good kill on the side lane. You do that enough times, and Weibo start to sweat. Hope. Doesn't have that 2-item combo just yet. Needs to complete up that Muramana. Close to the stacks on the tier at least. Shanks, no ultimate. Does he have the W? Hung. Trying to get that pulverize. Oh, good flash away from Shanks. Outplays him there. Knock up onto Hope. He has no flash. That's a dead AD carry. Weibo getting a little bit lost in transition. Not sure why he was heading up by that path. You had to know you're in trouble without flash. Tarzan going over the wall. Now they think there's a fight coming in. They don't have all of their pieces here. No breathe. Teleport in from the Akali. Doesn't have the ultimate, but Xiao who's caught out. And Weibo, despite a good dragon fight earlier, are picked apart by Anyone's Legend. They'll get themselves the 5 Grub Herald and also... Hang on a second, he's trying to stop some bags. What the hell's Kyle doing, man? Hella slang maneuver if I ever did see one. But Anyone's Legend pick apart Weibo, and now Hung, who doesn't have ult up, might be in a bit of trouble. Mark applies onto him. Pulverize is strong. Kyle's not going to go over the wall. Hung forced back, not enough HP. I can't believe that Weibo even stops the recall again. So now Hung's going to be off the map for a long time now. How do Weibo get caught in rotation like that? How does that work? Point in chat as well. No redemption on the Ivern. Gone for the Moonstone first. Moonstone's important, of course, but yeah, the redemption feels like it is very important to a lot of these plays. The AoE healing. I'm sure he'll get that next, but hey. Is he going to get a chance to decide the fights like that? Really good play from Tarzan. Straight onto him. Misfortune had no right walking through that. You have no flash, you have no teammates. You have no right walking through that. Look, I have a lot of time for Light in that first game, so I didn't think it was his fault. This game was better from him again, and Hung kind of ran him down in the early lane. That one was a mistake from him now. And now suddenly, you know, 1,000 gold in jungle, 1,000 gold in mid and bot, almost, you know, 500 in top lane as well, despite Flandre not exactly doing that much this game. God, even 1,000 gold in support. Kyle's going to be better. Second Hung, he has flash. Is he going to have to blow it again? Slow down. Has to use that ultimate. Still has flash. Tarzan comes through. Teleport comes through. And here comes the Aurora ultimate. Daisy's in the choke point. Teleport comes through. And even Xiao has to immediately flash. That's a good equalizer. Is that enough, though? It's good damage. And the bullet time gets good value, too. But it's all into frickin' Tresengard. Breathe has an overheat, but that's not enough. There's no turret here either. Hung goes down, and Light does not have anything left in the tank. Weibo die again. 5 for none. Clean ace. Anyone's legend are just better. I mean, what the hell was that? Once again, Hung caught out, and this time it leads to the death of his whole team. Why was Hung there? Putting a ward down. He's on the strong side of the map. Has Ivan hit, but he's gone way too deep. He doesn't have flat. Well, he does have the flash. He chooses not to use it to disengage early. At least don't bait your team into dying. Just leave Hung. Don't walk out there. It feels bad to leave that, but don't call the teleports in. The equalizer is good, but, you know, this is exactly what the Shinzo ultimate's there for. To buy that time against the long-range damage. It does exactly that. Shanks gets to clean up when you've used all your cooldowns on something worse. Really good combo from Shanks. Awesome play from the Akali. I can't believe it. I can't believe that Weibo had this draft and lost in this way. Dragon going to come up for anyone's legend. Objective bounties are up across the board for Weibo, who are now 7,000 rather. Gold down. Hung flashed over the wall. Sweet Jesus, not again, Hung. I mean, Kyle is going to get caught. Actually, maybe it's the other support getting caught this time. Oh, who am I kidding? Xiao, who very nearly goes down, and Kyle. Oh, such a support diff in this series. Jumping forwards, Hung goes down, and Kyle lives. Of course he does. Anyone's legend. A team to watch in the LPL for sure. Finalists from Split 1. Taking important victories here in Split 2. Breathe goes forward. Tarzan pulls the ult. Tarzan has to flash away. Breathe trying to get some damage down and has some burning to do. Carl does go down. Breathe gets something from it. And considering they're this far down, the double kill for Breathe, what more can you ask of the guy? This top laner for Weibo has tried his goddamn best in this series. It just has not been enough when it's mattered the most. Hung is my goat. I'm betting on anyone's leg. I swear to God, man. Oh, God. Oh, no! No! Oh, he's running it down! Oh, Hung! What am I watching? This is the worst series I have seen from a support in a very long time. I cannot believe this is happening on my screen. I can't believe this. What is this player doing? This man may well be subbed out for the next series because of this. Shanks dodges out. Has the W, dodging out some auto attacks as well. Doing some extra damage, has the E. Does he want to fly back? Doesn't have the ultimate, unlikely. 10 stack Dark Seal, Shadow Flame, and a Protobelt. Shanks is ready to pop off. Hope as well, 2 items going on 3. We want to see you get that Shojin up sooner rather than later. Shanks plays out a little bit with the Protobelt. You can do that, I guess, when you're that fed. Who the hell cares? Yeah, just put the fries in the bag, Hug. Just, oh, Jesus, man. Unironically, this is just running it down. Shanks has a Magi's. Feels great about it. Aurora ult used for wave clear, and that's fine. That's okay. Shanks has the extra movement speed from the 10 stacks on the Magi's, by the way. That's the big break point. So it's going to be even easier to sidestep. What is he doing? You're not safe. Walking up for the first bit is okay. Walking up so you can get hit by everything else, that's not okay. Why did he just walk back after the Oni ult goes through? You don't have anything left to contribute. Words fail me. Words fail me. That's going to be the cue of the wall, and maybe Hope has to pop the Barry. He does. And maybe that's enough. That's going to be the bullet time coming through. Good pick. Q over the wall. Teleport coming in. Rumble has the equalizer. Doesn't have flash. Oh, headskate cancelled. Kyle will die for this. Shanks doesn't have an angle through. 2 kills very quickly. Good route. Teleport into the mid lane. Flunderich and a wave clear out that next wave. Doesn't have the ultimate. Tarzan, does he go into that wave? Now, he gets hit by that as well. Has the ultimate, though. He's a lot safer. Akali takes the tower on the top side. Doesn't have that teleport. Splitting the map. Daisy pins him in place. Mid lane turret comes down. So only 3 kills come from Weibo. Good snowball. That Ivan, critical to the last minute of play. That's why even 2 plays. 2 towers coming through. Remember, they get objective bounties for this. Waves died. Oh, catch him under the turret. Turret shot comes through, but Tian lives just about. He's getting himself a recall. Oh no, breathe! Breathe, no! Breathe no more while all this is happening. Shanks gets a tower. Weibo are not allowed to have nice things. Weibo, consistently inconsistent, strike again in a way that only Weibo can. 3 kills, 2 turrets, and somehow mess it up at the end. Get in the goddamn clown car, everyone. We're going sightseeing. Well, that's the pick onto, Hope at least. You can see where it comes from, right? The Ivan Q, very, very good. The comboing in, and then of course the Kali's, they don't expect that to happen, so they're not in a position to respond. How do I explain this game to an LCK watcher? Imagine if you had KT Rolster versus KT Rolster, except one of them is just a... No, that's not true. I don't know, you just say it's like... Yeah, no, you just say it's a KT Rolster experience. I think that makes sense, right? Baron goes down. Anyone's Legend had a bit of a tee hee ha ha funny moment. Should be able to close with this. Pushing in across the map. Seekers. Oh, Kyle catches out the duo of support and top lane light behind it, and he just can't do anything. The equalizer is not bad, and the redemption is also not awful. Shanks has that redemption. Can he get the R2 off? He can just about get up with the flash. And somehow Shanks lives. How? I have no idea. But his HP is above 0, and that's all that matters. Anyone's Legend have made a tragedy out of Weibo's day. Weibo are no longer a top team within our LPL. Anyone's Legend crushed them into the mid-table. Will stay afloat at the top at 4-1 for their first 5 series.